cool. So that should be good on YouTube. Yeah, and I'll switch over on the side tube to me. That should be muted now, so we're good. All right, time to post this in up in the thread. All right, good. That's some interesting looking news there today. All right, but that's good. We're all live now, so let's see. Make sure I get everything set up properly. I didn't forget to unmute myself or anything, so that's good. Let me see. I'll tweet it out too. And then we got the Matrix chat. I need to remember all these places to fucking tell people that I'm streaming live. There we go. It's Twitter. What's up? I just started going live, so I haven't covered anything yet. I'm just doing the regular old, let people know I'm live so they see it, they can come on. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I have to put a space or something before I post the slash in Matrix because it thinks I'm doing a command. All right, cool. So I put it in all the different places. Maybe I should do it in the side tube thread as well. Get everybody in here. I get to think that they stuck the internet stuff all together in one thread, so there's no longer like a YouTube thread. I guess I'll just use the internet trash thread, maybe. Or maybe I'd be better to keep this on the side tube. All right, I see that link. I'll stick that over with the news there. Thank you as all. Oh, and by the way, I need to, let me see. Something I need to do. Spin where was it? There we go. All right, you now have mod status. I keep wanting to like shout out your name, but I can't say that shit on Twitch. Cool. Yeah, that's you've been a really good source of articles too, by the way. And as usual, anytime somebody wants me to like cover something, I'll grab that stuff first. Supersedes whatever news Anon posted, because that's like stuff I can go back to anytime. See if we get more people. Oh, hey, what's up? Good to see you around here. I don't know if you want me to shout out your name on Twitch and all that, but yeah, not much is going on with me, but the news today looks like there might be some cool big stories, so that's pretty good. Hopefully we can get some people coming in here. I don't want to start reading a whole bunch of stuff before people arrive, but if you've got anything you want me to cover, now would be a really good time to give me links. me actually... There we go. Oh, really? So there is stuff continuing to happen with, you know, things. It's interesting that I guess maybe they've learned, the media has learned this time that you need to be really quiet, keep things on the DL. Oh, interesting. Reevaluating the model for capitalism. Well, that'd be some interesting stuff to look at. We've definitely seen lots of development in the mode of production, so we might be in a place where we need to do some more fundamental critiques instead of just looking at like what past socialist experiments have done right and wrong. I think it can be shown that capitalism can destroy value in a systemic manner and still make it create apparent profit. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly the goal, I would say. I don't know if you're allowed to show this on Twitch. Well, if you're not sure, then it's pretty good bet that I'm not. Yeah, okay. If it's showing people being murdered or after the aftermath of that, that's not. I cannot show that on Twitch. I mean, I could, but I would. Yeah, I can't show this. I mean, I could show the tweet, but not the actual video contents. Let's see. We just have to be really careful about, oh, okay. There's like several videos here. I'm not going to pull up this tab because there's a lot of graphic footage, and Twitter autoplays videos usually, so yeah, I'm not even sure I could pause and hit these videos somewhere that it wouldn't be showing something. But yeah, so the story is Colombian police just murdered at least 5 people in the city of Cali, a center of protest against Ivan Duque's tax increase. Other sources say 7 were killed. More blood on the hands of the US-backed narco regime. And then here's footage. This is from Dan Cohen. Here's footage of a Colombian community leader bleeding to death after being shot by regime forces. This massacre is fully supported by the U.S. And then the third tweet, more footage documenting the aftermath of Ivan Duque's massacre, Ivan Duque's massacre of protesters in Cali, Colombia today. And I mean, it's people who are either dead or dying, lying on the pavement in the city. Not that much really to describe. It's not something that translates to a description anyway. But hey, Screeny Anon, what's up? Yeah, that's rough. I saw some footage Saturday night of some of the stuff happening over in Colombia. There was some military hardware being deployed, some kind of I don't know, like an armored vehicle or something like that. Oh shit, I forgot to turn off my filters on my... Might have accidentally been blowing the audio out there. Yeah, it looks like things are getting pretty dire in Colombia right now. I'm not sure if there's any... Oh, yep, there is a second story is about that. Let's see. I think it's probably just the one is going to cover Colombia from News Anon today. But... Yep. So that's don't know where that's going to be heading, but things are getting pretty bad over there. It looks like, and I'm not really in a position to. I mean, there isn't anybody in a position to do something to try to avert the kind of thing, the kind of thing that happens when you have a far right government in power like that, who's just going to brutalize the people. Heard some speculation that like maybe there might be some kind of conflict with their neighbors Venezuela, but we'll see. So yeah, not looking good over in Colombia. It's weird. Why is it? I don't know why my Twitch info is not updating. I know I've got more viewers than what it's showing, but whatever. It's always wonky with that shit. All right. So we got some people rolling in now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start going through the news. Had a bit of a late start today. I'm going to try to be doing earlier this week. Maybe start reading around 6. Or that's 6 my time. It'd be 22 UTC. But we'll see. I'm starting a little bit late today, so I'm going to go ahead and get right to the news. So top story here, we've got Peru leftist candidate pledges to seize foreign company profits. Peruvian presidential frontrunner Pedro Castillo said he'll review contracts with transnational companies in an effort to increase onshore wealth. In a debate with Keiko Fujimori ahead of the June 6th runoff, leftist Castillo said multinationals should expect to leave 70% of their profits in Peru. So that's a big one. Let's use that to sort of soften the blow of the story I got from our chat user, whose name I'm not going to say. Israeli soldiers kill Palestinian woman. This is yet another. Skim through it first. Yet another atrocity by Israeli military. An unidentified Palestinian allegedly injured 3 Israelis in what the Israeli army said was a drive-by shooting near Nablus in the occupied West Bank on Sunday. So this was yesterday. The same day, occupying forces fatally shot a Palestinian woman Israel claimed was attempting to attack soldiers at a military checkpoint near Bethlehem. Israeli state broadcaster Khan posted a video taken by a nearby surveillance camera which appeared to portray the drive-by shooting incident at the Tapwak Junction checkpoint near Nablus. The footage shows a silver SUV approaching a white guard shack with where people are unloading a car. Meanwhile, 2 men are walking towards the shack with an Israeli soldier following them. The silver vehicle briefly stops in front of the shack, and there appears to be commotion as an apparent shooting happens. The Israeli soldier then appears to fire towards the vehicle, but it leaves the scene. So I think I'm not sure why it's buffering so much here. Seems like there's no audio with it either. Oh, that's not the site. That's my graphics is slow rendering for some reason. All right, so you can't really see much there. Three Israelis were injured in the shooting. Israeli media reported one to be in critical condition, another in serious condition, while the third was released from the hospital. There are 3 19-year-old students at a religious college in Itamar, one of Israel's colonial settlements built in the occupied West Bank in violation of international law. The vehicle suspected of involvement was found in Akraba, a Palestinian town near Nablus, on Monday, a local media reported. That's gonna open the tweet. Pictures circulated on social media show Palestinian Authority security forces arriving at the scene in what is likely coordination with Israeli occupation forces looking for the alleged attackers. The vehicle appears to have been set on fire by local people shortly afterwards. What is up with... Maybe it's something going on with my internet connection. Okay. For some reason, it's just... I'm running slow today. Delivering on threats. The Israeli army said it would increase its forces across the occupied West Bank to search for the alleged attackers. The exact number of people involved is unclear. Naftali Bennett, an Israeli lawmaker and head of the right-wing Yamina party, said Israel must respond with an iron fist and by maintaining our grasp on the land of Israel. Bennett has previously bragged that he has killed lots of Arabs. In response to the incident, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu threatened that Israel will strike severely at our enemies. Israeli occupation forces and settlers acted on those threats overnight on Monday. Settlers from the colony of Shiloh attacked the Palestinian village of Jalud near Nablus in apparent revenge. This tweet's in English. Palestinians are reporting that settlers from the area of Shiloh settlement, one of the most violent settlements in the West Bank, are conducting a revenge pogrom in the villages of Jalud and Kusra after 3 settlers were shot today from a vehicle in another part of the West Bank. Oh, that's a bunch of links right there. Let's see. So that's Tajikistan-Kyrgyzstan border conflict. Oh shit. Is that from... That's from a few days ago. Alright. Oh, and that one's got maps. Let's see, oh, that's like actually like a whole little piece that I could go through. Breaking news, oh, it's like something just came up. Oh, fuck. Just in, this was minutes ago. I gotta interrupt this story for this. Holy shit. Justin, now we have bangs and an ambulance arriving at the CIA headquarters in McLean, Virginia. Ambulance arrived after we heard 13 bangs near the CIA headquarters. An ambulance departed moments later with a police escort. Shit, so that's a developing story I'm going to be having to keep an eye on since that just happened. But holy that's a big fucking deal. Yeah, like somebody, maybe like somebody who was, I mean, I'm not going to speculate actually because there's so little there. Let me see about that original tweet that was retweeted. Yeah, it's just people saying like thoughts and prayers. It's probably going to be a bit before we get any news on that. Let me just see if there's anything else that's popping up when I search for the CIA. Well, there's lots of people posting, like, you know, the general negative stuff about the CIA, but I'm not seeing I'm not seeing more news that's really up high yet, but this just happened apparently. Yeah, it seems like all the posts are mostly about something else. Like just random other things. So I don't see there's like more news about that incident, but yeah, I definitely want to keep an eye on that. That might have been, I mean, it could have been somebody out from the outside attacking. It could have been a workplace shooting. We don't, at this point, we don't know anything, so it's not for me. This is, I didn't announce that or anything. This is like a charity drive. That's this is for a group called Pro Literacy. I was hoping that it would, like, this little thing would tell you the name of the organization, but it doesn't. I should have just named the charity thing after the organization, but this is just Streamlabs has integrated charity stuff that you can do where you just like pick a charity and it will generate a donation page, and you can post people can donate to it, and it'll like pop up with little notifications and fill up the progress bar. It's an adult literacy program. They have like a bunch of charities on there, and I just like picked that one because it seemed appropriate for leftypol. But yeah, it's not for me. It's for something that usually that kind of stuff helps get people, get traction and traffic and shit like that, right? But yeah, so like it gives me this donation page that people can go to, and they can put in like whatever amount they want, and it'll fill up the little bar. But yeah, so the group is Pro Literacy. It's like, I forget what it's defined as, but it's a large network that's inside the U.S. that also has like partner organizations around the world, and their deal is increasing adult literacy. I checked their website, and it says that in the U.S., I guess at least, donations to them are tax deductible. So there's that. It took me like zero effort to set it up, so I figured why not. I just didn't like advertise it or anything. I guess I probably should have made a thing about that and like prepared a speech to shill for it, but I just set it up to last through the month of May, see if anybody will put any money for them. But yeah, that's all that it is. If I'm gonna read books, I'll just download PDFs or whatever. I'm not too worried about like getting a budget for that. Most of the stuff I would read would be free anyway. But yeah, that's gonna be up there anytime that I'm streaming. It's donation pages like that are active 24/7, I'm pretty sure. But it only does a little notification if I'm like in the stream at the time. Otherwise I'd have to go back and like activate it manually again. So yeah, let me check in on the CIA thing, because that was like, pull this back over here. The people who just came in, there was some kind of incident at the CIA headquarters in Virginia. Ambulance arrived after we heard 13 bangs near the CIA headquarters. An ambulance departed moments later with the police escort. And it's just a bunch of people. Oh, here we go. Confirmed. Ongoing security incident at CIA headquarters. It's from Jeff Selden, National Security Correspondent, VOA News. Just outside the secure perimeter of CIA headquarters by our main gate, per spokesperson. Our compound remains secure, and our security protective officers working the incident are the only agency personnel directly involved. Security protective officers getting help from local law enforcement too, per agency spokesperson. All right, here's another. This is CNBC. All right. Several people are hospitalized after a vehicle tried to enter the. Wait, that's from 2018. Fucking dipshit trying to get attention. Oh no, he's saying that there's like some similar motive. Oh, we're getting into tinfoil territory now. All right, so let's see. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention this part of like the Streamlabs charity thing. 100% of the money goes to the organization. I don't see any of it, neither does Streamlabs. It goes directly to whichever org you pick. And the one that I did is pro-literacy, but I'm not sure if it actually shows. Yeah, that's weird. I have to like actually tell you what the fucking name of the thing is. It doesn't automatically do that. That's lame. All right, whatever. Yeah. God, people are fucking posting gender war bullshit. All right, so it looks like there's not a lot of information on this yet. Let's see if there's any updates for this tweet. Yeah, people are just like making regular old comments on this. Maybe they've got more news. Wait, Bill and Melinda Gates are gonna get divorced? That's interesting. The Pedro Castillo memes. I have not seen the Pedro Castillo memes. I have the story up. I have the story up from News Anon for that though. Shit. That's a big story. Potentially, we'll see how the election plays out, but yeah, I would like to see some Pedro Castillo memes though. That'd be pretty funny. So let's go back, finish the story up though in Israel Palestine. So Palestinians are reporting that settlers from the area of the Shiloh settlement, one of the most violent settlements in the West Bank, are conducting revenge pogrom in the villages of Shalud and Kusra after 3 settlers were shot today from a vehicle in another part of the West Bank. And then they got a video of oh, it's like troop movements, it looks like. Maybe they set a fire. It's hard to see much of anything there. Settlers threw rocks and set fires in the village and punctured the tires of several Israeli police vehicles. Wait, what? Settler... They punctured... Okay. Israeli human rights group B'Tselem circulated footage of burned village land the next day. And yeah, everything's just fucking ashes. God, what the fuck is up with... Do I have like a ton of things open that I don't know about? Oh, that might be what it is. think I might have. Oh, I'm in the wrong. God, I'm in the wrong fucking. Yeah. That's what the problem was. I forgot that I was setting up something else and I was in the wrong scene. Where's the browser? There we go. And this might be. No, that's not fucking. What is costing me so much slowdown today? Maybe my computer's just overheating. Alright. Yeah, so you can see just like this is the aftermath of. This is like a fairly involved back and forth story going on here. So somebody pulls up, shoots a few, injures a few Israeli soldiers, and then they retaliate with that. And Israeli settlers also smashed cars and windows of Palestinians. And this looks like, yeah, spent shells.
بعد اقتحام المستوطنين للمنطقة واستهداف المنازل. طبعا تنوعت القنابل.
Maybe my internet's just shitting itself today. Yeah, I think that's all we're gonna get from that clip anyway. Where was the army? B'Tselem said. It was there and joined the rioters. Although the settlers were the aggressors against the Palestinian village, Israeli forces fired rubber-coated steel bullets and other weapons at Palestinians. Israeli forces arrested 11 Palestinians and 0 Israeli settlers, the Times of Israel reported. So like so that's what they were saying earlier, is that the settlers attacked the Israeli police vehicles for some reason. Even though the police were apparently like joining in with them. Woman killed. Meanwhile, on Sunday, Israeli forces fatally shot a Palestinian woman in the Gush Etzion junction near Bethlehem. The Israeli army claimed Fahima al-Harub, 60, was attempting to stab soldiers when she was shot. Video shared on social media appears to show al-Harub slowly approaching 2 Israeli soldiers at a checkpoint. She's carrying a handbag over her right arm and an object appears to be in her left hand, but it's unclear what it is. The soldiers order al-Harub to stop and raise her hands, and at least one of them fires a warning shot into the air. Al-Harub appears to flinch from the sound of the shot, but continues to move slowly towards the soldiers. The person filming the incident temporarily retreats from the scene, and the moment Israeli soldiers shoot al-Harub does not appear in the footage. When the scene is back in the frame, al-Harub is lying on the ground as Israeli soldiers stand near her. It's weird how the camera's always just somewhere else when the important part of the incident actually happens. Crazy how that is. One of the soldiers shot al-Harub in her upper body, Israeli media reported, citing a medical organization. Al-Harub was taken to the Shair Zedek Medical Center in Jerusalem, where she was pronounced dead. At no point does the video show al-Harub close enough to heavily armed soldiers to pose a lethal threat, and she appeared to be several meters away when the warning shot was fired. As in other incidents where occupation forces resorted to deadly force against a Palestinian, the soldiers did not appear to attempt to overpower her with non-lethal means. So I guess this isn't going to show. It's not going to show the moment that Yeah, so that was the warning shot. Alright, I'm gonna pause it because I'm not sure when they're gonna start shooting. And I don't want to put that out on the stream. No Israeli soldiers were injured during the incident, the army confirmed, as in many previous cases in which an alleged Palestinian attacker was killed. The Israeli army posted on Twitter a picture of the knife it said Al-Harub was carrying. Al-Harub was from the nearby village of Husan. Last month, Israel announced the seizure of large tracts of land from the Husan and the adjacent village of Nahalin in order to expand the Jewish settlement of Beitar Illit and its access road. Al-Harub's brother told Tel Aviv Daily Haaretz that she was in poor mental health and had attempted suicide after she was laid off from her beauty salon job because of the coronavirus pandemic. Sunday's incidents come after disturbing videos surfaced in April showing mobs of Israeli Jewish youths rampaging through occupied East Jerusalem and attacking Palestinians. More than 100 Palestinians were injured as a result of mob violence provoked by the far-right Jewish group Lahava. Yeah, so that all keeps happening. Just another person dead, a bunch more buildings burned down. Hey Jules, how's it going? Yeah, not a whole lot I can say about that other than it's gonna keep happening. All that stuff's gonna keep on going the way that it is there. And it was nice. Hopefully, like voluntarily has some kind of thing you were doing. Not like on the lam or whatever, but it's good to see you back here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you never know with that kind of thing, I guess. We actually, now that somebody pointed this out to me, I think let me change the name of this fundraiser down here because it's not clear what it is. It's a charity fundraiser. And yeah. It's bugging me now that I realize that it's not clear that it's for a fundraiser. An XMR address? No. It's through Streamlabs. Which is basically it's a free method of setting up a charity drive for streams. All the money goes directly to the whatever the account is set up for the organization that you're donating to. Nobody else gets a cut. But I realized that I needed to because it didn't say that it's a charity drive or anything, so. And I didn't tell people what I was doing, so let me make an update the page. It should, there we go. It's for Pro Literacy, which is like an adult literacy charity. The deal is like they're a big organization in the US and they have like affiliate organizations around the world. They seem like they're pretty notable, although like they recently, from looking into them, they recently kind of fell on some hard times and had to downsize significantly. So I figured that like promoting literacy was a good fit for leftypol. So we'll see if anybody picks it up, donates anything. It was just a super easy thing to set up, so I just went ahead and did it. I'll try to get like something that draws more people in other times this week, like Saturday or something. I'll play games or something to see if I can get more traffic. Yeah, and just literacy in general is a really good thing. Like the more literate the world is, the better. Like full stop. You don't. It's just always an improvement. But yeah, I figured it would be a good pick for this. They have other ones too, like Medicine Sans Frontieres, but I figured I'd start with this. Simple, straightforward. But yeah, speaking of the movement, some interesting developments in Peru with their ongoing election. There we go. Peru leftist candidate pledges to seize foreign company profits. And here's the picture of him. Pedro Castillo. I assume on the campaign trail it doesn't say. This article is from Bloomberg. So probably not going to be too friendly, but we'll see. Peruvian presidential frontrunner Pedro Castillo said he'll review contracts with transnational companies in an effort to increase onshore wealth. In a debate with Keiko Fujimori ahead of the June 6th runoff, leftist Castillo said multinationals should expect to leave 70% of their profits in Peru. Enough of looting my people, the 51-year-old teacher said in his hometown region, Cajamarca. As part of his populist package, Castillo said he'll seek to raise investment in education to 10% of gross domestic product. Speak of reading a book. Damn. He also proposed lowering the pension age to 60 and cutting lawmakers' wages by half. All right, there we go. I guess that's how you pay for it, right? He said he would decline compensation as holy shit. He will decline compensation as president. Peruvian assets have fallen as the presidential election approaches, with the currency, touching record lows this week. Castillo maintained a shrinking but commanding lead of 44 versus 34 for Fujimori, daughter of jailed former president Alberto Fujimori, according to a poll released Friday by Datum. A full 11% of voters remain undecided, and 11% plan to cast blank or invalid ballots, the survey found. Fujimori said she'll boost the economy by creating 2 million jobs, increasing cash transfers for the elderly, and buying debt from small companies. Man, that's... Somebody was saying that there's Pedro Castillo memes being made now. He seems like somebody who's meme worthy. That does seem ridiculously based for a sock them. Let's see. Somebody posted something new in the thread. Oh. Yeah, a narco-transhumanist flag poster says, revolutionary candidate, pick one. All right. I mean, like, you're not wrong, but that's pretty bold policy. So here's an article talking about the memes. Sounds really cool, except for some cultural stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be some kind of baggage with people. Let's see. Looks like everything on here is Twitch friendly enough. All right, Pedro Castillo versus Keiko Fujimori. Los mejores memes que dejó el encuentro de los candidatos. Which is, I'll get the translation so I don't have to do it in my head. Pedro Castillo versus Keiko Fujimori, the best memes left by the meeting of the candidates. Okay, that's not a good translation. The best memes that I guess happened after the two candidates debated. All right, let's see. Oh, video player's having trouble. Oh, come on. I want to see the memes. Alright. Well, I can read the article. Los memes no se hicieron esperar y la ironía como el sarcasmo estuvieron plagándose en cada una de estas expresiones. Shit. See if I can get like... This translation is not usually so good. Memes were swift and irony. Is this like a... Actually, now that I'm looking at the grammar, is this like a... What do you call it? Algorithm written article or something? Hey, SciTube enjoyer. Seize the memes of production. Absolutely. What else? Estuvieron plagados en cada una de estas expresiones. I'm genuinely having some trouble reading this. Peruvians took with humor the first face-to-face... Yeah. The first face-to-face of both candidates for the presidential chair had. That's a pretty decent translation. Peruvian humor is unique and it reaches its highest level when an important or outstanding political event occurs, such as the first meeting between Pedro Castillo from Peru Libre and Keiko Fujimori from Fuerza Popular in Chota, Cajamarca. Alright, this is, I guess, maybe just written differently. The memes did not wait, and oh, okay, that's what that was saying. The memes did not wait. And irony, like sarcasm, was play is a weird, kind of a weird way of translating that. In each of these expressions, spread on social networks, figures from Dragon Ball, Pucha, The Simpsons, among others, were the protagonists in these jokes. El intenso momento político. The intense political moment between the candidates of Peru Libre and Fuerza Popular was represented through each meme. Uncertainty and incredibility were also present, given the promises to bring the long-awaited vaccines against COVID-19. I really wanted to see the actual memes, though. Like, give it another shot. Yeah, the player's not working for some reason. But yeah, that's said June, or is it July? June 6th is the runoff in Peru's election. So yeah, that's we got another meme candidate, except this time he's a SOCDEM, not Donald Trump. Maybe we can weaponize memes for a good cause. All right, here's the Colombia story. Let me check in first, though, with see if there's anything new on the CIA, because there was apparently a shooting at CIA headquarters in McLean, Virginia, earlier today. There might be a media blackout on that for pretty obvious reasons, though. Oh shit. So this was just tweeted. It appears this incident near the CIA headquarters remains in a standoff in negotiation with the suspect. All right, all right, we're going to go to that. So this is NBC News. This is in reply to somebody retweeting that. This was like just posted. Oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, hold on. Let me fucking... Stupid fucking bullshit. Hopefully, alright. That's working. Alright. Pause that. Volume up.
We're following breaking news of a security incident at CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. We want to bring in our national security.
Oh, come on. What the fuck is my internet doing this today?
Correspondent Ken Delaney. And so, Ken, what do we know?
Katie, a Fairfax police spokesman confirms that there is some sort of security incident ongoing at CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, at the fortified gate off a main road called Route 123. And here's what we've been able to gather from a number of officials. It appears that an intruder approached the guarded gate and tried to seek unauthorized access, and that the CIA may still be negotiating with that person inside their vehicle. Again, this is preliminary. One official told us that no shots were fired, and that the CIA is not in lockdown. No one has breached the perimeter. But this is a particularly sensitive situation, Katie, because all the way back in 1993, a Pakistani national shot and killed 2 CIA officers outside that gate on the main thoroughfare. So they take their security very, very seriously, especially in this time when we had an incident at the Capitol.
This is really frustrating.
Driving into a barrier, and when threats to federal facilities are at a heightened state. So we will keep you apprised as we gather more information about this situation, Katie.
Ken Delaney. And Ken, thank you very much. The U.S. hit a major vaccine milestone.
Right. So that's the brief from MSNBC's news. Let's see about so the article's actually saying this, probably updated pretty recently. I don't see any updates listed here. Police spokesman tells NBC News there's an ongoing security incident outside CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, that is being held by the. Well, this was at 3:46 p.m. So this isn't actually new. Let's actually, I don't want to just browse Twitter with Twitch up, because I might catch something not safe for work. Let's see, latest tweets from about the CIA. Let's see. Yeah, it's mostly people tweeting the usual kind of shit about the CIA right now. Yeah, it's a bunch of, it's like some of it's, just talking about how the CIA is terrible, and it's like all the stuff that it's done, and like a couple of random fucking pro-imperialism, like advertisements, basically. Not seeing a whole lot about this incident, though. All right, yeah, so I'm not seeing... All right, here looks like this is a more recent story, maybe. Or is this the same one? Yeah, no, this is the same. This is the most recent thing anyone's got, it looks like. All right, a police spokesman tells NBC News there is an ongoing security incident outside CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia that is being handled by the spy agency's guard force. The Fairfax County police spokesman said his police department was helping manage traffic outside the heavily guarded main CIA entrance of a busy thoroughfare in a Virginia suburb near Washington, D.C. Two law enforcement officials said an intruder tried to drive into the CIA facility without access and was stopped by armed guards who operate a series of gates. One official familiar with the matter said no shots had been fired, and another law enforcement source said CIA security officers were negotiating with the person who remained in his or her vehicle. In a statement, an agency spokeswoman said, in coordination with our local law enforcement partners, we are addressing a security situation just outside the secure perimeter of CIA headquarters by our main gate. Our compound remains secured, and our security protective officers working the incident are the only agency personnel directly involved. The FBI's local field office also released a statement saying after receiving a report of a suspicious vehicles, the FBI joined our law enforcement partners at the scene to assist in addressing the situation. So it's a fucking whole glow party. CIA would be the best at keeping everything under wraps. Yeah, I'm surprised how little, how few tweets there were about this. A reporter on the scene from NBC News station in Washington, D.C., WRC-TV, observed a significant amount of police activity around the security gates to the headquarters complex. The buildings themselves are set far back from the gates. Security around the CIA is taken especially seriously because in 1993 a Pakistani national killed 2 CIA employees in their cars and wounded 3 others as they were waiting at a stoplight near the main entrance. Mir Aimal Kasi, also known as Mir Aimal Kansi, fled and was at large for 4 years before being arrested, returned to the U.S., tried and convicted. He was executed in 2002. In April, a U.S. Capitol Police officer was killed and another injured when a suspect rammed a barrier. It's not known whether any CIA security personnel have been injured at Monday's incident. Well, there was an ambulance leaving the scene with a police escort. That was in an earlier version of the story, so we know that. I'll keep an eye out for that. For more developments, I'll keep checking. But yeah, that's potentially a really big deal. It could turn into another one of those manufacturing consent type situations where it's used for further justification of surveillance and that kind of thing. We'll see. All right, from Reuters, Colombia's president withdraws tax reform after protests. So, like, this is something that I had already seen from previous days, but I haven't covered on here yet, I don't think. Colombian President Ivan Duque said on Thursday he would withdraw a proposed tax reform after deadly protests and widespread lawmaker opposition, though he insisted a reform is still necessary to ensure fiscal stability. Protests have led to multiple deaths around the country since they began on Wednesday, continued on Sunday in some cities despite the announcement. Duque said on Friday the law would be revised to remove some of its most controversial points including the leveling of sales tax on utilities and some food, but the government had previously insisted it could not be withdrawn. I am asking Congress to withdraw the law proposed by the Finance Ministry and urgently process a new law that is the fruit of consensus in order to avoid financial uncertainty, Duque said in a video. The reform, which the government has insisted is vital to stabilizing Colombia's finances, maintaining its credit rating, and funding social programs remains necessary, Duque said. Political parties, local officials, business leaders, and civil society have contributed valuable ideas over the last several days, he said. There is consensus on the need for temporary taxes for business and dividends, and as increase in income tax for the wealthiest and deepen state austerity measures, Duque said. It's a moment for all of us to work together without malice, he said. The central bank warned on Friday failure to approve the reform could have a negative impact on the economy, while a loss to the country's investment-grade credit rating has already been priced in by many investors. Lawmakers, unions, and other groups hailed the announcement as a victory. Celebratory cacerolazos, a traditional protest where people beat pots and pans, could be heard in some neighborhoods. It is the youth, social organizations, and mobilized citizens who have seen deaths and defeated the government, leftist Senator Ivan Cepeda said on Twitter. May the government not present the same reform with makeup. The citizens won't accept tricks. There's not yet a definite national count of deaths connected to protests amid incidents of looting, destruction of public transport, and road blockades in several cities. Local officials in Cali, the country's third largest city and where demonstrators have been the most violent, have confirmed 3. 1 death each occurred in the city of Neiva and the municipality of Madrid, and a police officer was killed in Soacha. The procurator's office said in an afternoon statement it was investigating 14 deaths nationally. While human rights groups have alleged police abuses, especially in Cali, and said deaths number more than 20. The National Police Director said the force would contribute all necessary information to the procurator's investigations. Duque said late on Saturday that cities at high risk for disturbances would get military assistance, an offer rejected by Bogota Mayor Claudia Lopez. All right, so we got what's this one? All right, so this is a thread about Venezuela. Let's see. Was there a specific? No, it's just you were linking the thread. Let's see. Is there something? It looks like that's a whole thread. Was there anything specific in there, or was it just the OP that you want me to read? Yeah, so it sounds like Colombia, things are actually not going as bad as it could have been, that the demonstrations are leading to a response that people were looking for. But there's lots of violence that was happening, and we saw earlier, I was linked, I was linked some tweets showing victims of police. I can't show the footage because that's against TOS, but graphic footage, a Colombian police just murdered at least 5 people in the city of Cali, a center of protests against Ivan Duque's tax increase. Other sources say 7 were killed. Here's footage of a Colombian community leader bleeding to death after being shot by regime forces. The massacre is fully supported by the U.S. This is by these are tweets from Dan Cohen. journalist at the headline, or let's see, BT headline, which is behind the headlines. I can post the link to the tweets. I'll post that in the chats for Twitch and YouTube so that they'll stay there permanently. Be warned that it's very graphic footage. But it looks like maybe something came out of the situation in Colombia after all. Oh shit, did I fucking... Yeah, okay, I need to... fix that. Maybe. There we go. Or, no, actually. Chat's overlapping the charity thing. There we go. Now it's not. All good. All right, so what's happening in Venezuela? This is, of course, right next to where we were just talking about in Colombia. I'll get to the situation with is this the right tweet? Yeah, the Kyrgyzstan Tajikistan story in a second. Alright, what did they mean by this? Opening a separate thread instead of posting this in the Latin America thread because I believe it warrants a discussion among Anons. The Venezuelan National Assembly (AN) has passed a bill to create a national communal parliament. The legislation approved on Tuesday aims to set up a body made up of communards elected directly through the country's local grassroots organizations. The number of communal parliamentarians and election rules will be set up by the country's electoral authorities. The competencies laid out for the new assembly include deliberating on matters related to communal structures, holding the Ministry of Communes accountable, and proposing laws concerning popular power to the National Assembly. The PCN will in turn respond to committees elected by local instances. Former President Hugo Chavez conceived the commune as the fundamental cell for the transition towards socialism in Venezuela. According to the 2009 Communes Law, these instances integrate communal councils, social movements, and other local organizations, and can, in turn, be aggregated to form communal cities, federations, and confederations. All instances elect spokespeople and have an assembly as their highest decision-making body. This is, that is fucking something. Huh. Libs are taking this badly in the meanwhile. Oh, I think I clicked that link already. Yeah. Communards, which are the people organized in the communes network called Union Comunera, or Union Comunera, not to mistake with the communists politically organized of the APR bloc. Both are Chavistas, so confusion could ensue. Express their opinion on this bill with this article. What's your take on all this? Yeah, okay, so there's like a discussion there. Maybe I might scroll through that, but I need to make sure that it's all safe for Twitch first. But that is really fucking interesting. That sounds like they're at least trying to make good on attempting to move towards, which is what MAS stands for, is Movimiento a Socialism, movement towards socialism. That they actually are trying to, like, reform their way to socialism. That's fucking... Huh. Alright, so here's like the main article, and then there's the libs are molding, and this is the response from the communards. So, huh. Venezuelan legislature approves national communal parliament law. This was probably going to have a lot of stuff that I already said. I'm not sure how much of this is, which parts of the green text, so I'll just go ahead and read through. Yeah, they've created the Venezuelan National Assembly has created passed a bill to create a national communal parliament. Yeah, the legislation aims to set up a body made up of communards elected directly through the country's local grassroots organizations. Yeah, I read that. The number of communal parliamentarians and election rules will be set up by the country's electoral authorities. The National Communal Parliament is an instance of a protagonist democratic and decision-making participation toward the direct exercise of popular sovereignty. The still unpublished text seen by Venezuela Analysis said, The real question is if this will conflict with the rightward shift of Nicolas Maduro. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. This seems like a very interesting direction for them to be going in. Maybe this was the parliament, so they might be antagonistic toward Maduro. But I would think that if the parliament is already on board with this kind of things, that means that the people are probably pretty in favor of these kinds of measures and could put pressure on him to move left. So we'll see. Let's see. Competencies laid out for the new assembly include I read that. Luis Marcano, president of the AN's Commune Development Commission, stated during the legislature session that the PCN is an instrument to fight corruption and bureaucratism while boosting mechanisms for communities to solve their own issues. The text received 257 favorable votes in the 277-member legislature, with the minority opposition bloc arguing that the law violates the Venezuelan constitution. Hold on, I just want to... The text received 257 favorable votes in the 277-member legislature. That's a mandate. Like, I don't know how, like... $20 people out of 277 didn't vote yes on this. That is, that's huge. Its approval follows the law of communal cities, which looks to regulate the functioning and competencies of higher instances of popular organization. Yeah, the two bills which had been identified as a priority by President... Oh, wait, so... Yeah, the two bills which had been identified as a priority by President Nicolas Maduro during the AN electoral campaign in late 2020 will now be open to debate in order to incorporate suggestions from grassroots movements. So he's on board with it. So they don't have any internal obstacles to it, it doesn't look like. I mean, this seems like it's gonna happen. 257 out of 277 vote yes on it. Maduro calls it a high priority. That's, I guess it's happening. And as we saw recently, the U.S. has not been in a position to do anything to stop Venezuela from, or change, engage in like regime change in Venezuela at least. So that's this seems like a pretty fucking big deal. That's like yeah, if Chavez, or wait, no. Wait, no, if Maduro is on board with it, then yeah, that's like, what do they have, what's going to stop it? Former President Hugo Chavez conceived the commune as a fun. Yeah, we already saw that part. Chavez was also critical of ministers and high-ranking figures for not being focused enough on the communal project, with the commune or nothing demand in his final political speech becoming a slogan for popular power organizations. After great progress in their early years, communes and social movements were deeply affected by the years-long economic crisis, with worsening living conditions, migration, and reduced state funding among factors leading to lower political participation. However, grassroots activist and substitute deputy Oliver Rivas told Venezuela Analysis. That name is a real fucking mouthful. Venezuela Analysis that the new legislative initiatives can open spaces for popular movements to make their contributions and debate on how the state should be structured. El Recero Parish, Caracas. We have had several meetings with communal council and commune spokespeople discussing not only the law's content but its underlying logic. He added, while calling on all popular movements to do the same. Reynaldo Iturriza, who served as Minister of Communes in 2013 to 2014, agreed that any effort that focuses on popular power organizations is positive, since these are the beating heart of the Bolivarian Revolution. Nevertheless, he warned that the legislative efforts needed to be part of an integral approach in light of what he described as a top-down tendency to sideline communal councils. Damn. Oh, hey Lossie. I love you too. Yeah, so I guess this is just gonna happen. That's almost so I'll finish this and then we'll move on to the responses. There's been a trend from state and party structures to treat communal councils with suspicion as opposed to a vehicle to democratize the Venezuelan society, he told Venezuela Analysis. When asked about fears that the legislation could subordinate grassroots organizations to the National Assembly, Rivas explained that the laws can make the legislative body an expression of the popular will, but that it requires struggle. These laws embody an idea of what a popular and revolutionary democratic exercise looks like, but it does not happen by decree, he concluded. For his part, Iturriza welcomed the public discussion surrounding the two bills, but argued there should be just the same emphasis in generating debate surrounding the government's economic policy. The economy is a top priority for everyone right now, he stated. Reforms to the hydrocarbon law, the land law, among others, are currently on the table, and Venezuelan people should be called upon to discuss this. Yeah, I know. I think that might be, maybe that's the reason why they're doing this now, is that the U.S. is degraded enough that it can't stop them. I mean, we had what people were calling the Bay of Piglets, where they tried to fuck with them and it just didn't go anywhere. They immediately captured the mercenaries that got sent in. So maybe the U.S. just isn't going to be able to do shit. There's been a problem of balancing the collectives and the state's government. Yeah, and negotiating the balance of power is going to be like a big challenge. This is going to be like, I feel like this is going to be a really huge thing for like what 21st century socialism looks like. Not in the sense that it's going to have this one particular character, but in the sense that they're trying a new sort of method and they want to see like what else we could do, what other methods might work. And hopefully it's going to create more like of an example for people to follow, trying to yeah, like Rojava, this should be look at to see how it goes. Yeah, exactly. But this seems like a very bold move. I think we're starting to very slowly see a resurgence of socialist experimentalism. Yeah, I think that's true. And this is it's a good, I think a good step in that direction. All right, so here's this article is liberals being upset. As much as I like the salt mine, this is a long article. I'll start with just I'll start with the heading. Communal cities law creates a parallel state, constitutionalists warn. This March 19th, the National Assembly, elected on December 6th, began the national consultation of the draft organic law of communal cities. The legal instrument was approved in the first discussions by the Chavista Majority Plenary session March 11th. I want to get to the part where they're upset. In the articles of the bill to which Efecto Cocuyo had access through the community councils, the main aspects include the transfer of powers from the public power to the communal cities and sources of resources for their operation, combined with public financing and self-management policies. Constitutional lawyers such as Gustavo Manso also warned that in the communal cities conceived as spatial units with relative autonomy within their territorial scope in the explanatory statement, the functions of the public powers are replicated at all levels. This they warn without said figures being provided for in the Constitution. Yeah, okay, so just complaining that it's we have a matrix chat for leftypol, Lossy. We don't have Discord or anything though. I think, I don't know, I don't have the get the link to. Oh no, I don't have permission. There's a link somewhere on leftypol that you could use to find the matrix. Let's see, I don't think we're out of the dark era of reaction yet. I agree, but it doesn't seem to be worsening. It's hard to say if it's getting better. I think it's kind of just like it's failing to get any worse right now. But this is a very interesting development. I think they're just going to be doing standard complaints that this is like not procedure and it's not constitutional, so whatever. This is the response from the communards. Venezuela's law of communal cities, communization of the struggle to confront imperialism and capitalism. One of Venezuela's largest grassroots organization presents its position regarding the controversial legislation going through the National Assembly. So this picture is Venezuela's settlers movement debates the law of communal cities currently going through parliament. Venezuela's National Assembly is currently debating the law of communal cities. President Nicolas Maduro has announced the target of creating 200 communal cities by June. The law is expected to face its second reading between April and May. The project looks to build upon existing community structures like communal councils and their conglomerate communes. It reportedly includes the transfer of competencies and financing to organized communities, the application of participative democracy, the creation of communal enterprises, and the formation of a national communal parliament. According to Socialist Party PSUV deputies, the law's objectives include decolonizing current consciousness and social praxis, and transcending the mechanical summing of communal councils and communes to build a new and truly human spirit and subjectivity. The white paper has, however, drawn criticism from opposition sectors that claim it creates unconstitutional parallel structures and will do away with mayor and governor offices while imposing socialist structures. Some leftist communards have also expressed concern with a handful of Venezuela's stronger communes, pointing out that communized spaces cannot be created through top-down legislation. Others also warn against reformist or bureaucratic trends, or question the state's commitment to communal construction, drawing from previous grassroots experience in which efforts to construct communal cities faced resistance from state players. Following is a statement by one of Venezuela's stronger grassroots organizations, Movimiento de Pobladoras y Pobladores. Settlers Movement, henceforth Pobladoras. Let's see. Just remembered I want to check on the CIA thing again. see if there's anything see if there's anything new about that. Yeah, so this is the older article I'm seeing getting tweeted out again about ambulance. Yeah, I don't see any though. All right. Oh, you're from Colombia. Well, I hope you're staying safe. It seems like things are really going down over there. But maybe there's enough pressure from the people to like have some kind of useful effect. It seemed like they were saying the government was kind of giving in a bit to the protests. Hopefully that's true. But yeah, like obviously it's very serious, and if they're just like it's getting better with each day, that's good to hear. Yeah, it's I mean, like I've seen plenty of last couple of days I've seen a lot of footage of pretty violent shit going down. Yeah, it's just, well, yeah, I mean, it's like fucking, you know, it's the US backed narco state, right? I mean, of course it's rot to the core. But yeah, it seems like it's one of those things where once things get fucked up bad enough, there's gonna be a breaking point, you know? Yeah, a puppet called Uribe. Alvaro Uribe? Yeah. They were citing, who was the other guy that the article was talking about? It wasn't him, it was somebody else. But yeah. Yeah, let me get the picture of him. Yeah, this guy. Just realized you in the stream was talking to me. Oh, yeah. Hi. Yeah, I'm streaming for leftypol. So I interact with the chat here directly. Gripping the country for decades now. Yeah. Well, maybe things are going to change soon. You know, we'll see. Yeah, with an iron fist. It sure looks like it from the stuff that's coming out of there now. Hopefully the protests are getting somewhere. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's some kind of major opposition, like organized opposition currently. But I'm not on the ground there, so I can't say too well. He tweeted something about Felix Guattari theory. What that is weird. Well, yeah, that's even if you don't have like what do you call it? You know, some kind of big organization. Spontaneously, sometimes people do like basically like a general strike, but with a bunch of you know, like protesting, rioting, whatever, as well. Molecular revolution. Interesting. Distorting Qatari. Yeah. It's like, kind of reminds me of when Elon Musk said that he's a socialist. I don't know. Maybe it's just people who are confused. There's the people with power are kind of confused about these concepts and looking into them because they know that their opposition is out there reading this stuff. They don't really like get it. I don't know. That's pretty it's pretty nuts though. Yeah, it's not to his benefit to be advertising that kind of theory on Twitter. So it's really strange to see it. Maybe, yeah, it might be intentional. It might, I don't know. It's hard to say with a lot of these people. A lot of them seem like such clowns that they don't really know what they're doing. But yeah, I definitely see it as a strat to distort the concepts from something that's based and radical into something that's like just incoherent. But yeah, I don't know how slick this guy is, but like if it was Bolsonaro doing it, I'd be pretty sure he was just being an idiot. They didn't know what they were doing, they wouldn't be in power. Yeah, I generally agree with that. But I feel like a lot of the time the figurehead people are less the ones who are the major manipulators and more like the public face side of things. And the real power players are the ones behind the scenes. Because it's not to their benefit to be public. It's been tweeting to incite killing of citizens. That's incredibly grim. I'll look that up. It's weird he didn't come up when maybe they deleted his account or something. Huh. Oh no, it just didn't recommend the search for some reason. Weird. Twitter's been deleting his most inflammatory tweets. Well, at least there's that. Let's see. Alright, so here's his Twitter page. Oh, come on. I wish there were local dialogues with those who protest that the private sector and community organizations convened. This is due to the sterility of the dialogue with those who have promoted violence since what's that? PTE. I'm not sure what that Duque began. Social solutions and authority. Yeah, he probably isn't tweeting super interesting stuff constantly, but here's the one about socialism. In Venezuela, socialism ended production. In Colombia, the vandal terrorism encouraged by politicians advances in business destruction. Yeah. It's just people just want to break things. That's definitely it. It's not that there's like some underlying problem that they're trying to resist, but oh yeah. Yeah, they were saying Duque was the guy they were talking about otherwise. Workers are blocking roads to paralyze this country. Yeah. Hard way, yeah, well, that's like real high-level general strike type of shit. And also like France more recently too with the yellow vest stuff too, not just like 68. But yeah, that's Just stop playing those videos. Yeah, guess people are rediscovering those kind of tactics as a way of resisting the system. Well, anytime. See, that's the thing, is there will always be some people who think that it's bad to halt production and whatnot because, you know, I'm not getting the milk or whatever that I want. There's always people who buy into that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, that's the thing, is anytime there's like there's resistance or some kind of struggle, it's gonna have cost. Like, yeah, obviously. You know, the waste that you're seeing with like production going unfulfilled right now compared to like the amount of waste of resources and waste of human life that's happening under the current system, is like, you can't even compare the two of them. It's a totally ridiculous. If you actually do like just a like apples to apples comparison, it's ridiculous. It's like here apparently literally crying over spilled milk. Yeah, that's the thing, is that it's the working class has the power to just halt production, like saying like France is doing. Well, I think a lot of people are just very well socialized, trained, or whatever, to agree with whatever. Yeah, like you're saying, NPC, to agree with whatever somebody in a position of authority tells them. You know, whatever the leader of the country says, or whoever. Trying to tell them like, oh, this is bad. You should. They already are looking for a reason to not like somebody who's causing some kind of upset. So they'll take whatever excuse. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. They're crying over spilled milk, not realizing that the cow is being taken. Exactly. It's a really good way of putting it. So yeah, that was, I think, yeah, like here's the like the footage showing the milk being spilled. There you go. It's really easy to take like a single thing like this and point out it and be like, look at how bad this is. You know, it's harder to visually explain like the system as a whole. All right. So yeah, that sounds like it, even though Colombia's in a bad place, it's people are realizing that they've got power to make it better. So that's heartening. Yeah, I agree. It is a beautiful thing. If the workers having enough know that they have the power to do this kind of thing, then you know, they're in a good position to try to fix it. Problem is, a lot of times people don't realize they've got this sort of power. I want to think it's a spring. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So it is nationwide. I was only hearing about stuff in the capital and some other, like there was like other big cities, but if everybody's aware of it and participating, that's really good. Yeah, that's a bad situation, but maybe it's getting better. Yeah, South America right now, a lot's happening. I think we might be hitting that point where like, what is it? The quote's like, there's weeks where decades happen. Like a whole bunch of stuff is about to go down, it seems like. With the recent elections. Peru, they've got a runoff that's happening in June June 6th, so like a month from now, between the two candidates. Bolsonaro is in a bad place too. It seems like he was trying to do a military coup, and he had fired one of the ministers for like going against him. And as he was trying to get like the other military ministers to back him up, they all resigned. And there's now like legal issues with his presidency potentially. And shit, who was it? Was it? Yeah, Lula was like getting released. So there's potentially a big change to happen there. Yeah, a lot is going on in South America right now. That would be that would be like, you just have that whole section of the continent would be going nuts between I mean, like that whole like top part, like what, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Bolivia. I mean, not well, Bolivia's got its own stuff going on too. Peru, Ecuador, and Brazil was what I was thinking of, not Bolivia. But yeah, big news all over. Yeah, I don't know, maybe they'll do some kind of South America has actual potency. Yeah, they've got lots of mineral resources there that are yeah, hugely important for major technology going on. Like the whole thing with Bolivia and well, what was it? Lithium. They wanted the lithium to make batteries and shit for the green technology and for Elon Musk's cars. Yeah, some kind of like South American or like Latin American union among like the countries that were going towards socialism would be a huge deal. Whether it's you know, however they structured it. He wasn't just inciting a coup, he was declaring that he was going to do a coup. Yeah. Oh yeah, and food. Fridge of the world. Yeah, food, and then there's also, you know, the drug trade stuff is a really big deal too. So like if there was a handle put on that kind of stuff in the countries where that's coming out of, that would have like a major impact economically in North America, but not in like a production kind of sense. But there's a huge our youth is the most tech literate. That's interesting. I haven't seen any stats on that, but that's that makes sense. Europe and Japan are so old now. Yes, Europe, the US, I think Canada too, is really old. The major resistance to drug legislation overall in the US is that it would fuck with a lot of the narco terror regimes in LATAM. That, and also it makes money. It's like a big source of income for, like, you know, black market enterprises. And there's you know, like this, we know that there's involvement with like the CIA and the drug trade with that stuff. There's probably a lot of politicians who have their income stream involved in that stuff. So yeah, sleeping giant. Hopefully the giant wakes up. CIA coup so many governments. Yeah, exactly. But a lot of money actually goes to regimes. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, like Colombia, for example. I'm sure it's huge for the far right with the drugs. Oh yeah, if they just legalized the drugs, it would be fucking over. They wouldn't, like, it wouldn't, all of that shit would collapse. It's not possible if it's a white market. Or the level of profit wouldn't be, and it would be a huge blow to that sector of the economy. Well, like, yeah, well, I mean, of course, there's glowies in the drug trade. Like, we know that they're involved in that stuff, using money to like funnel to people that they want to fund. So yeah, they probably do have a whole lot of their finances tied up in that shit. Why wouldn't they? Yeah, drugs are like the one of the biggest rackets of the, well, I don't say the 20th century, because it's kind of latter development and it's still very much a thing in the 21st century. But yeah, it's very much like the opium wars. No, it's not. Drugs are not drugs are not like the whole reason. Yeah, like there's way more to it than just the drugs. That's a huge tool, but it's not like the whole thing. Yeah, using drugs is a very effective tactic at, if you want to subdue people, or you want to like fuck up their social system and extract lots of money. Well, Venezuela is, as we were just reading, they're taking some pretty radical steps, and it's like awful what's going on with sanctions and all that sort of stuff, but they're holding fast. You know, there was that attempt to do a coup pretty recently, and it went absolutely nowhere. So, you know, maybe Venezuela's in a good position right now. I mean, as good as they could be for being where they are and what they're doing. So, oh, Mayday! Was it Mayday? I didn't remember that. Was that already a year ago that they sent in those mercenaries to try to overthrow the Venezuelan government again? Or is that some other incident? That was yeah, so far they've managed to like yeah, I guess that would be a really big propaganda victory, because the date would be associated with a big loss like that. Yeah. Well, Purges Night. That is, what the fuck is that? Well, I've heard that before, but I'm fucking blanking on. Huh. Yeah, it's a saint's holiday. Okay. Yeah, I heard the name before, but I didn't realize the connection there. Yeah. All right. So let's go back to what's going on in Venezuela then. Oh, so like there's like very religious and ritual kind of like associations and stuff with that particular day. All right. So, yeah, this is the article. This is the piece that's a response by the communards toward the new law that's passed in Venezuela to try to basically do like communization through the Venezuelan government, which is just like kind of bananas that's a thing. Mass killings always happen. That's anniversary of the Bay of Piglets. Yeah. I guess it has been like a year since then, right? Damn. It's crazy how time flies. Yeah, so that was a whole year ago now. And Bolivia is still doing pretty well, having shaken off the coup. Venezuela just like no-sold that attempt. Yeah, maybe it is time. Maybe it is time for stuff like this. So yeah, the Venezuelan National Assembly votes to try to develop the communes in the country and sort of like move the structure of society, like politically and socially, toward communes. And this is the response from some of the communards about that policy. 2020 was a weird year. 2019 feels like it was a very long time ago, but 2020 was over in a flash. Yeah, it's weird how stuff feels like it's going by both slowly and quickly at the same time. It's weird. Perception of time gets weird when there's a lot of stuff happening. A lot of weird stuff, especially. All right. So this is the statement is from one of Venezuela's stronger grassroots organizations, Movimiento de Pobladoras y Pobladores, which they'll henceforth call Pobladoras. So here's a statement. Pobladoras considers the proposed law of communal cities to be an opportunity with great revolutionary potential. It offers continuity with the philosophy of the Bolivarian Revolution and may unleash the strength of Chavismo. It will also allow for a strategic internal debate and for the regrouping of forces in the fight for a revolutionary communal horizon. The imperialist blockade killed rentier capitalism in Venezuela, and as such, incited class struggle between the country's people and the dominant sectors. In this context, the law must be a tool to politicize the current crisis, to weigh influence on the false dilemma between trying to revive the dying rentier capitalist model or pushing for the birth of communal socialism. We denounce this false dilemma. Venezuela has not withstood this harsh situation due to its rentier condition, but rather due to its community and the collective structures. These collective structures have been promoted and strengthened during our revolution and have in fact compensated for the absence of rentier income, or have allowed what remains of it to be translated into better material living conditions through solidarity, mutual support, collective work, voluntary brigades, self-management, and popular economies. These manifestations have allowed us to implement our greatest strength, the power of the people. If we fight for it, the law of communal cities may be used as a tool to strengthen the communal path to Bolivarian socialism that allowed us to wage multiple battles against imperialism. Communization must be the policy that guides this stage of the Bolivarian Revolution. Communal cities, an element of the communal fabric, must be part of a revolutionary strategy to enhance community structures. These structures are what have allowed the people to resist the imperialist blockade, the systemic crisis of capitalism, and the global COVID-19 pandemic. They should be the cradle of communal socialism as an alternative to the dying rentier capitalist model. Yeah, so that's that sounds like they're very optimistic about this. 2021 is even weirder. Yeah, so far it looks like it might end up that way. They need to take Maduro down and put in actual Chavista. He's corrupt as hell. Yeah, but it's funny though that Maduro supports this policy. So we'll see. If he's an obstacle though, given how overwhelmingly this passed in the assembly, it seems like there's a mandate for this. So if he doesn't get on board, it might be, he might get enough pushback that he either has to move or he gets ousted in favor of somebody else. That's a good point. Yeah, removing Maduro might be an opportunity for liberals to strike. Yeah. Let me actually just link the thread. Yeah, so this is the leftypol thread. And I'm reading from the last article, Venezuela Analysis. This is the statement from the communards, the pobladores. Four aims of struggle for the communal cities. The battle against imperialism and its hybrid war against Venezuela is fought from the communal territories and with popular forces unleashed for class struggle. Popular control and self-management are activated against exploitation and looting, assembly power and self-government against bureaucracy and paternalism, territorial control and popular defense against mafias and violence, Chavista and revolutionary popular unity against the enemies of the people. The flesh and blood of communal socialism is in a communal city against capitalism. In order to contribute towards ensuring a strategic political discussion and to strengthen some aspects of the law, Pobladores proposes 1. The communization of all areas of life, including political management, production planning, organization, and social relationships, which should be transferred to the hands of the organized people. All this must have the fundamental objective of reproducing a communal way of life based on common necessities, a concept used by indigenous and campesino people. Self-management should be the basis for an organized community's direct control of shared means required for living: food, health, education, transport, water, energy, housing, among others, by one or more groups in a given system of territorial aggregation. 2. The application of popular sovereignty and direct democracy following the principles used by communal councils. Communal cities should be comprised of all the communards that inhabit them and exercise popular sovereignty through the mechanisms that the law proposes. All communities in a communal city must have an active citizens' assembly as the base level structure, a space where the most important issues will be debated and important decisions validated. And also, I want to point out that this is all very relevant because now that this bill has passed the National Assembly, it's going to be basically released for input from organizations like this. So this is all extremely relevant to what it might turn out to be. And we might see like tension between these factions with like the state, with Mas or Maduro specifically. So that's something to keep an eye on. Social control and self-management must be central to socialism in the communal city. All state or private sector relations that exist in the communal territory must be progressively subject to social control by the communal city, which must supervise consumption, ownership, and management. Equally, most of the public and private sector relations key to the life of the communal city should progressively pass to direct communal self-management. And by the way, what they're saying with the communal city is the bill is basically talking about progressively transitioning at the municipal level, at the city level, toward like this communal model, and having like, you know, communal cities that are using that model. In case that's not clear, because that was context from a while back. 4. An urban revolution. Democratizing the modern city involves going beyond the bourgeois liberal way of life and its pattern of territorial development based on extracting life from the majority of the people and the environment. The communal city is about decolonizing the territory. We are not talking about the right to city life, but about a city built for living, with shared purposes and managed by the commoners. We are talking about a territory where the use of the common is subordinated to the common good of its inhabitants. It is the self-government of historical disputes of our neighborhoods and territories. Soil, water, energy, transport, education, and telecommunications, among others, are common elements that are collectively and should be collective and should be administered by the communal city. We put forth these 4 axes as the guiding criteria in a struggle and popular debate of historical proportions. They should also be part of the ongoing struggle to build a socialist communal society and consolidate a popular civilization as an alternative to the colonizing model imposed on us by imperialism. All right, so that's... All right, hold on a minute. I just needed to get a drink real quick there. So that's yeah, it sounds like they're like really running with this. And I mean, that's about as radical as you could get with this kind of project. And then this is, I guess, like the credits, the different parts of this movement: Movimiento de Trabajadores Residenciales, Residential Workers Movement; Campamentos de Pioneros, Pioneer Encampments; Movimiento de Inquilinos, Tenants Movement; Comités de Tierra Urbana, Urban Land Committees; Movimiento de Ocupantes de Edificios Organizados, Organized Building Occupiers Movement. So yeah, there we go. That seems like it's gonna be huge. Let me switch off the browser really quick in case somebody posted something that I can't show on Twitch. I'll scroll through this and see if there's if it's safe.
Inshallah.
Alright, that looks fine. Oh, people, there's some like effort posts in here, it looks like. Nice. I turn off the auto update so that nothing catches me by surprise. Yeah, let's take a look and see if anybody's saying anything interesting in here. Yeah, Twitch gets, you know, I feel like nothing would happen if nobody like reported me, but better be safe. This is also going up on YouTube currently. I stream to both simultaneously, so that's there forever, or at least until YouTube shuts down. So I would rather avoid anything that might cause the channel to be terminated and stop me being allowed to post this kind of stuff. All right, yeah, U.S. will declare Venezuela needs democracy and freedom, says Black Flag poster, who apparently is not aware of the situation, as pointed out they already did by the Sandinista flag. White paper has, however, drawn criticism from opposition sectors that claim it creates unconstitutional parallel structures and will do away with mayor and governor offices while imposing socialist structures. Yeah, it sounds extremely bad. Yeah, what's the catch exactly? All right. Catch is PSUV have purged all the socialists who aren't pro-Maduro. Well, see, that could be a problem. Sandinista says there isn't any. They're literally going full communalism with communes and self-governing and self-administering, combined with a popular militia for the overall defense of the country and nationalization of strategic assets. This sounds insanely based. The possible catch would be in Yugoslavia tier scenarios happening in the long run, but considering Venezuela has very few productive forces, it's time for real, not as the dungoid want to claim China has. I struggle to find problems with this in the short to medium run. Well, like, I mean, I'm not sure which aspect of Yugoslavia they're talking about, but I think, let me turn off Flux. I think Yugoslavia, like, really ran into trouble when, because they didn't have, like, Tito anymore. And the more you distribute the power, the less that kind of thing becomes an issue. But maybe they're talking about something else. Very revealing moment for liberal institutions, yeah. Seems to like a move toward an institutionalized socialist state as opposed to Chavismo and a bourgeois constitutional system. Still, the PSUV have purged most of the left now. PCV is persona non grata. How can they expect a popular social state to exist? Sandinista poster again says, the APR should ally with the Union Comunera. And actually, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'll zoom in so it's super easy to read. Here we go. The APR should ally with the Unión Comunera and with the EPO, Ejército Productivo Obrero literally a volunteer formation of workers dedicated to fixing and improving production around the country, which is the epitome of Chad. Yeah, it's pretty fucking based. And move the class struggle from the institutional side to the streets now that they have a kind of legal leeway to do it. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're kind of right about you can't really enforce this kind of thing top down. But it does seem like this is providing the opportunity for these movements to organize it from the bottom up, which, like, go for it, right? So the right thing would be to keep stability in the institutional sphere while structuring dual power more and more. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because you want to be able to resist imperialism as effectively as possible, right? So I could see that as being the strategy. Also, they should join en masse the Bolivarian militia to ensure self-defense from Porky. Yeah. So that's a pretty, I think that's a pretty reasonable take from Sandinista poster. Oh no, ultra left bros, we got too cocky. Frankly, let's see how things develop. Yeah, we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic about this. Whatever is a step in the right direction. Fuck yeah. Yeah, like this, being a purist over this kind of stuff is very infantile, I think. So this is in response to saying that there's no downside, and this is like very based. No worries, Biden will turn Venezuela into a flaming hole in the ground that we can all go back to being doomers. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Alright. Okay, so here's like a meme of Maduro.
Inshallah, dirían nuestros hermanos musulmanes, inshallah.
I don't think he's actually saying inshallah, it just sounds like it, but that's funny. Yeah, somebody posted something that got deleted. Venezuela officially anarchist commune. Well, not yet. Maybe. Based Venezuela holding up communism in its purity. Hot take. Venezuela is the most faithful to the vision of the dictatorship of the proletariat that Marx spoke of. Conjoining the communal local governments with the National Party makes it damn near close to what Marx wanted. It also kind of seems like, I mean, like a bit unironically, yeah. Like, it kind of seems like a synthesis. What they're going for, like a synthesis between, like, state socialism and anarchist socialism, which is pretty wild. I mean, like, still, again, cautiously optimistic and tentative, but, like, yeah. What is this Maduro trying to do Marxism-Leninism? Yeah, more like Yugoslavia without ethnic tensions in the end. If the movement and the communists, if the communist movement and communist one managed to play their cards well. Yeah. Is this some... Yeah, alright, applying to... It's like way up in the thread. Yeah, more Yugoslavia without the ethnic tensions. What is sure though is that such a promotion of communes has few precedents in history. Right. That seems like the big thing here. That's like the significant change. For good or bad, they're experimenting with something. It will be up to us to derive some lessons when it will all be over. I think Maduro raiding the offices of the Communist Party of Venezuela. Okay. Yeah, a bunch of people start like arguing about little details and stuff, like petty shit. If they manage to make this a stable reality, it would be an interesting way to socialism. That's certain. I would still advise everyone to be very, very cautious not to celebrate too early. Yeah, I mean, they're just like declaring their intent at this point. But it is a good sign. Yeah, okay. People arguing about more minor politics. Somebody's got the text of the law. Maybe this is gonna, yeah, this'll maybe clear up exactly what it says. At one point it says that the communes can federate themselves into communal cities. The communal city, Article 4, it is an instance constituted by people's initiative through the aggregation of communes in a specific territorial area based on function and geohistorical dynamics, with common interests and values where principles of sovereignty and protagonist participation are exercised as expressions of popular power in accordance with the National Economic and Social Development Plan. To this end, progressive processes are assumed in the communal city, concrete political, economic, social, cultural, and spatial processes that promote special policies of stimulus and support in terms of an array of resolutions, competencies, and resources that these organizational forms could have within the structure of the Venezuelan state and its different levels of government, viewed in a comprehensive and systematic way. That's like a lot of jargon for basically saying that, like, you're fundamentally changing the way that you're doing the political structure, and that's going to change the way that you deal with things. So it seems like this is going to be a lot of legalese. Well, this might be interesting, though. Political territorial organization. Article 6, taking into account the geohistorical and functional conditions, cultural features, uses, traditions, customs, and economic potential. The geographical area where the communal city is constituted may or may not coincide with the political territorial limits established within the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Okay, so this is it's still very like technical kind of stuff. This is just like the actual things that it's saying. Is there nobody replied to that post, so they don't have like a good summary. I mean, I don't think like this is really going to flesh out what we were seeing earlier. This is wild. Hope you'll comment on this. Maybe I will later if I'll read it myself. But that's a little dry to be reading on stream. Holy shit, these pink-tide socialists are more based than I thought. What's the status of private property in these communal cities? Well, the communards want it to be completely abolished. If this comes to fruition, these would most likely be federations of cooperatives, so full worker ownership of means of production and respect to personal property. I would still wait to cheer on this because I want to see it implemented, but potentially this is very good. Yeah, I mean, if they do it, it would be ridiculously based. So how do we get Venezuela out of economic trouble now? This seems epic. Well, if the more you the more you localize this kind of stuff, the better it's going to be for disentangling you from international trade. But that's a very good question. This is something I'm interested in, like how much of Venezuela's economy is private or state-owned. I think Venezuela's still got a lot of private, like majority private ownership. But this is in places where that's not necessarily a huge deal, you might see these communal cities develop faster. Yeah. Was the I scrolled way up. Somebody was answering about how much of the economy is private sector. It depends on what you mean as private. If you have a communal city in which everything is democratically run by the people, you still have private property because the market is still the place where exchange happens, but it has a completely different quality. You would have production carried on not for profit, or at least partially not for it. It also depends on how much it will interact with state-owned industries, which, in my opinion, at that point should comprise the commanding heights of the economy. So it seems incredibly base. Does this mean democratic socialism can work? Well, I mean, if they do it and it works, but I mean, this is more like, yeah, it's not. This is not. This is like kind of not. I don't know. It's hard to categorize what they're doing in Venezuela right now. Yeah, it's nothing about this is democratic socialism. It's local socialist movement and a mixture of national backing of the local movement outside of the bullshit parliamentarian crap. We can equate this somewhat to the Soviets and their organic formation alongside the backing of them by the Russian Social Democratic Party. Meaning not like meaning the original sense of Soviet, like the councils. That means it's a politicized movement from the ground up to top down at the same time. One of the largest failures of nations like America and the West European nations is the lack of an organic politicized grassroots movement. Yeah. Any political movements in the West are bureaucratized organizations that only receive donations and aren't run by the people themselves. In other words, there's no participation between the orgs and the people, broad masses besides donations. Yeah. Look at the DSA, for example. You donate to them monthly or yearly, but you do not participate in any way with them. The irony about their leadership is it's very authoritarian, more authoritarian than even the spooky democratic centralism. In fact, democratic centralism is a lot more democratic because it gives internal factions the platform for debate, but once a topic has been voted on, there's a duty for everyone to abide by the resolution. In the DSA, you can voice your individual opinion so long as it does not conflict with the leadership, and voting on matters is not on tactics and strategy that's outside the powers of the majority in the organization. If there were blocks in the DSA who could replace the leadership of the DSA, the DSA would be even more dangerous as an org and probably become a lot more effective. Yeah. It's pretty interesting thought there about the TSA. Yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah, if in democratic socialism you include arming the people and getting the loyalty of the military, probably yes. It's not a closed case, though. We got to see if they'll, yeah. If for democratic socialism you mean putting paper on a ballot box once every 5 years, no, it's never going to work. Yeah. But this does kind of seem like, I don't know, a more middling social democrat policy that's, or government that's moving in a very positive direction. If they actually do move this way. Yeah. See if there's anything. There's an article here. So strongly anti-Chavista blog, but he raises an interesting point about the conflict between PSUV functionaries and these new communal structures. Okay, yeah. They criticize the communes for being both too weak and too influential at the same time. Peak lib doublespeak. According to them, PSUV needs communes, but at the same time they're a hindrance to him. Yeah. Also, the existence of the dual state structures generates ambiguity that the centralized government with control of all other institutions can ultimately steer in its favor. This means the government can effectively transfer power to communal state institutions whenever this proves politically convenient. Yeah, this is insanely based and Lenin-pilled in a sense. Yeah, all right. 45,000 communal council. So that's the number of people in the council. Let's just take a really quick look at this article. I'm reading the leftypol thread because it's about a very interesting story. I read the article. No, I'm not doing a fucking react to leftypol posters and shit. There's a very interesting story that's developing here, and people are talking about it in a serious way. So the story is that the National Assembly in Venezuela has passed a resolution, passed a bill that what they're doing is they're going to support the formation of communal cities, which is basically like they're going to try to do like turn authority in various cities over to local communes and like have them be run by people's councils. it seems like it's a really huge deal, like a major departure from like pretty much anything that has been tried before with this kind of stuff. And it passed with overwhelming support in the National Assembly. 257 out of 277 Assembly members voted for it. And yeah, let me actually scroll to the top of this thread so you can see what the. Let me go over this again. Yeah, the Venezuelan that's right, a national communal parliament. The Venezuelan National Assembly has passed a bill to create a national communal parliament. The legislation approved on Tuesday aims to set up a body made of communards elected directly through the country's local grassroots organizations. The number of communal parliamentarians and election rules will be set up by the country's electoral authorities. The competencies laid out for the new assembly include deliberating on matters related to communal structures, holding the Ministry of Communes accountable, and proposing laws concerning popular power to the National Assembly. The PCN will in turn respond to committees elected by local instances. Former President Hugo Chavez conceived the commune as the fundamental cell for the transition towards socialism in Venezuela. According to 2009 Communes law, these instances integrated community councils, social movements, and other local organizations, and can in turn be aggregated to form communal cities, federations, and confederations. All instances elect spokespeople and have an assembly as their highest decision-making body. So, like, this seems like a really huge deal. And, like, there was this article, Communards, which are the people organized in the communist network called Union Comunera, not to mistake with the communists politically organized in the APR bloc, expressed their opinion on this bill with this article, and they were like very supportive of this as a great opportunity for them to like drive forward with basically trying to do like communization almost, but like with the backing of the Venezuelan state. So like this is like a really unusual, strange situation, but it seems extremely based. Yeah, we'll see where this goes, but like this is a very a different method for trying to establish socialism than I think anything that's anything really that we've seen before. And yeah, I'm reading the thread because there was a lot of discussion about like strategies and how this might play out. Let's see, where was I? I think I skipped over some of this stuff. Oh, I actually was almost at the end. Yes, people just post. Somebody's just spamming soy. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, I read this one as in response to the liberals talking about this. They're saying that communes are too weak and too influential at the same time. That PSUV needs communes, but they're also like a hindrance. So yeah, apparently Maduro is very supportive of this too. He said that this is like a top priority, getting this legislation passed. So like the government seems like very behind it. Again, in the National Assembly, which has 277 members, the positive votes for this legislation were 257. So out of 277, only 20 didn't vote yes. I'm not sure how many voted no versus like abstained or whatever, but like 257 out of 277 voted yes. This is like a mandate. And this is like seems like a new development possibly in 21st century socialism. And they now that they've passed this law to try to like communize these various cities, they're opening up for input from these grassroots organizations. So the piece that I was reading earlier with the statement from the communards is actually like very relevant, because this is exactly who they're going to be going to for input on how to do this. So let's see. I'll read the first paragraph because I think it sums it up pretty well. Yeah, state mandated Soviets. It basic. This is like actually all power to the Soviets almost. Pobladores considers the proposed law of communal cities to be an opportunity with great revolutionary potential. It offers continuity with the philosophy of the Bolivarian Revolution and may unleash the strength of Chavismo. It will also allow for a strategic internal debate and for the regrouping of forces in the fight for a revolutionary communal horizon. And I think I had like a criticism here that I wanted to. They were basically saying that they don't think that it can be imposed top down, and this basically just needs to be like opening up space for the grassroots movements to take charge here. Yeah, this is a lot of like rhetoric. But here's like, this is more like the actually thesis statement. Communization must be the policy that guides this stage of the Bolivarian Revolution. Communal cities and an element of the communal fabric must be part of a revolutionary strategy to enhance community structures. These structures are what have allowed the people to resist the imperialist blockade, the systemic crisis of capitalism, and the global COVID-19 pandemic. They should be the cradle of communal socialism as an alternative to the dying rentier capitalist model. Reminds me of Gaddafi's People's Committee. Oh, that is actually, yeah, that is sort of similar, isn't it? Yeah, interesting. It's because, yeah, he was like the leader of the revolution officially, but basically all he was doing pragmatically was like offering suggestions, and then the committees in Libya could either go with it or not. And he was called like a dictator, and that these committees were just rubber stamping everything he said, except all the times that they didn't, and they rejected it, and his ideas didn't go anywhere because nobody supported it. So yeah, that is kind of a similar structure. I think that this looks like they're really gonna like fully turn over everything to the local political organizations, though. So we'll see. Get inside the communes, Porky. You're our financier now, with the Xi Jinping with the gun. Yeah, this is a wild development. And then they announced like they've got these like 4 points of contention. Basically, communize. Point one is communize everything. Point two is run things with councils, and everybody's accountable to the people of the city. 3 is basically socialize everything. Point 4 is like we need to rethink urbanization, or like we need to think like urbanism and make cities livable for people. This is like one of the biggest grassroots organizations that they've got in Venezuela. Movimiento de Pobladores y Pobladores. So yeah, this was, I think, this was another article that was linked in the thread that I haven't gone through yet. Communal state, Maduro's inherited social control machine. Oh yeah, this is people who were like really butthurt about it. This is what I was looking for. The PSUV controlled parliament is going forward with the law to increase the existing influence of 45,000 communal councils and its related control structures. So they already have 45,000 communal councils, and they're trying to like hand over more power to those structures now. All right, so this is just like, this is a liberal article complaining about it. I just wanted to get that figure because that was the only place I'd seen it, that they've got 45,000 communal councils. So yeah, that's about everything that's in the thread. Maybe it's updated. I'll switch off the browser input so that I don't catch anything I don't want to stream. All right, no more posts. So yeah, that's very encouraging. That really makes it seem like Latin America as a whole is like really a hotbed of activity and potential for socialism in the 21st century. Somebody, I think it was Infrared, was saying that like 21st century socialism is going to be centered on Africa, and I'm sure they're going to have a role to play, but it's looking like South America right now. But yeah, so I think. Well, so there's also yeah, there's another story about let me put these all into one tab stack. There's a story about the Batken region, the border between Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, with conflict breaking out there. But Latin and Africa, maybe. I mean, I'm not trying to discount Africa. I haven't seen nearly as much from them as from Latin America, though. We'll see. I would love it to be both, but we'll see. Yeah. So the person who linked me the story on Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan is no longer in the stream. So if they come back, I'll go on to that. But I get several articles on it, so I think I might want to save that so I could go over it with a large group of viewers. So it seems like a potentially big thing. Yeah, India too, maybe. We'll see if there's a strong enough reaction to Modi, which so far it seems like there might be. Things have been going bad enough for BJP that maybe there'll be enough sentiment against them that people organize and actually do something. We'll see. We will see. I would always love to see more of it happening, but you know, I'm very cautiously optimistic about stuff like this. That story in Venezuela, though, was a really big surprise. I hadn't heard anything about that. It's a big deal. Yeah, and then also Colombia had the big news with all those protests are apparently getting the government to budge, and people are really being active with it. We had somebody in chat from Colombia, actually, who was talking about the situation there. Yeah, saying that like people are really getting mobilized and are very willing to like basically do like general strike and like national protests or riots or whatever, and like really shut everything down. So that's like good news relative to how things had been going. And then in Peru, there's the election is looking like it's going to be Peru Libre that wins. I'm not sure about Ecuador. And then in Brazil, Bolsonaro is getting fucked by all the whole situation, crises, and yes, Pedro Castillo. I mean, maybe I mistook it, but I'm pretty sure Peru Libre is Castillo's party. Yeah, he's like 10 percentage points ahead right now, I think. I think it's 44 to 34 in the polls. 11% of people were saying that they're going to protest vote with like a blank ballot, and then 11% were undecided. So he's definitely looking like he's better off, but we'll see. They were saying his lead was decaying, but he had some fucking ridiculously So like let me actually reread that, because like if you missed what he was saying he was going to do as president. This is pretty short. In a debate with Keiko Fujimori, Castillo said multinational corporations could expect to leave 70% of their profits in Peru. As part of his populist package, Castillo said he'd seek to raise investment in education by 10% of gross domestic product, and also lowering the pension age to 60 and cutting lawmakers' wages by half. And he said he would decline compensation as president. Yeah, there we go. He's got 44% versus 34% for Fujimori. And then 11% are undecided. So it could swing the other way, I guess, if it like decays some more and like enough of them vote for Fujimori. But I don't know. Compare that level of like trying to fix things to Fujimori saying, I'm going to create 2 million jobs and like buy debt from small companies. Yeah, like people really need that right now. All right, let's see what else we got. It's 9:20. I think I'll go to 9:30. See if there's like another good story in here, or I could just read headlines. But yeah, today's been a good news day. Popping off my man Stone Castle. I don't get that reference. Let's see. Yeah, so there's Castillo at the. Does it have any more? No, the file name didn't say anything else. But I guess it's a campaign rally. Oh, Pedro Petros Stone Castillo. That's. My Spanish isn't good enough for me to get. Yeah, it's not a lame joke. That's a good joke. I was forgetting to think about the meanings of the names. Oh, okay. Well, here's another good electoral news. Communist-led alliance sweeps to victory in Kerala with increased majority. The LDF, a coalition of left-wing parties, including the CPI-M, which would be CPI Marxists, right? The Communist Party of India and the Indian National League stormed to victory, leading in 98 seats and 140-seat assembly, up from the 91 elected in 2016. So yeah, here's another electoral politics victory. Well, maybe there's something to be said for electoral politics outside of the United States. Communist Party of India Marxist hailed a historic victory as the Left Democratic Front won Kerala with an increased majority in today's legislative assembly elections. Yeah, up 90 to 98 seats from 91. CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri said the victory showed that people had faith in the LDF in an unprecedented manner, with the previous government having risen to the challenges Kerala has faced. He paid tribute to those who've lost their lives to the preventable scourge of the coronavirus pandemic, saying the Kerala model was an example for the world on how to handle the crisis. Mr. Yechuri's own son died last month from COVID-19. Prakash Karat hailed the result as a significant victory, with no previous government elected in Kerala for a second successive term. That does make this a really fucking big deal. New posted some meme in the thread. Okay, cool. I got the Pedro Castillo memes, because that was something we were looking at too, was just like memes about Pedro Castillo that were like got really big or something. This shows that people of Kerala have appreciated the performance of the government and the way it tackled floods in the state with the COVID-19 pandemic, and remained committed to working for the people, he said. Mr. Karat said he was sure that the incoming LDF government would fulfill the aspirations of the people of the West Indian state. Its success has been attributed to years of investment in public services, community, and neighborhood outreach teams, and acting early with the swift implementation of contact tracing and other measures. The devolving of power right down to village councils has also allowed citizens to receive new information and advice quickly. So yeah, that's more good news. Let me turn the browser off, slip on the internet condom. Oh, cool. Yeah, here's some. Oh, News Anon posted. Also. Oh, that's what NA stands for? I'm an idiot. Yeah, okay. Browser. There we go. So we've got. Yeah, they referenced Dragon Ball Z in the article. So we've got Keiko Fujimori. Is that right? Fujimori on the left and Pedro Castillo on the right. It's pretty funny. So like in this one, I guess he's gonna erase her is the idea. I don't know the Dragon Ball Z characters enough to know if there's like anything there. It's just like the appearance of them, but that's pretty great. He's got like that. He does have that Giga Chad jawline. What the fuck is this? Who's posting these fucking soy jacks? Alright, hold on. What is up with that? Oh, was it somebody who's like that's not in response to me, is it? Or is it somebody's like deleting his post and he's mad about it? Alright. Wow, that's some good news there on those fronts. Thanks for those memes, News Anon. Good shit. Anything that's gonna help to make Fujimori look like a clown. I mean, it's not, I should probably try to go listen to those debates if they're online. Because it sounds like it'd be very interesting to see what they're actually saying. Alright, Stalin fulfills political destiny, comes to power in Indian state assembly elections. After votes were counted on Sunday, it emerged that the DMK-led Secular Progressive Alliance, a political coalition of left-wing parties, including India's two major communist parties, defeated the incumbent ruling All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam party, which is a regional member of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's right-wing National Democratic Alliance. So it sounds like, again, more good electoral news. Well, today is a good day for some of this stuff. Stalin has reincarnated to where he's needed most. The Indian left can't stop winning. Yeah. Oh yeah, this guy, right? What a fucking Chad this guy. Like, just look at him. Oh, that's gonna. Of course, they have a sidebar that loads when I expand the page. Yeah, I see why that's an Indian politician, and it's like hilarious. Like, just he looks the part so much. Named after Joseph Stalin, is set to become chief minister of the southern state of Tamil Nadu. A role he's been groomed for since birth, after his party's comfortable victory in state assembly elections. Muthavel Karunanidhi Stalin, 68, born 4 days before his namesake's death in 1953, is the son of God. This is like just such meme stuff going on here. Yeah, I know he's literally like styled himself like Stalin. It's amazing. As the son of a late 5-time chief minister M. Karunanidhi, the hugely popular president of the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam DMK party. After votes were counted on Sunday, it emerged that the DMK-led Secular Progressive Alliance, a political coalition of left-leaning parties, including India's two major communist parties, defeated the incumbent ruling All India Anodravida Munnetra Kazhakam Party, which is a regional member of the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi's right-wing national... Oh, I already read that shit from the Post. In an emotional victory statement, Stalin said it was... I love that they're just calling him Stalin. It looks like he owns a shitty rundown bar that sells the hardest liquor and bent cigarette packs, and that's why it's the... Yeah. And that's why it's the best. Yeah. It looks like he runs a Soviet Union themed street corner bar. That's Stalin said it was our aim to get DMK back to power when Kalaignar, his father, was alive. But time got the better of us. To fulfill that dream, all of us worked tirelessly. The victory is recognition for all that hard work. Stalin, who remained in his father's shadow until his death aged 94 in 2018, began his political journey as a 13-year-old DMK organizer. He formed the party's youth wing in 1980, and served as its secretary until 2017. He has also been a former deputy chief minister of the state. The victory, which brings the DMK back to power for the first time in a decade, came on the back of a campaign focused on shortening the state's linguistic identity and autonomy. Strengthening the state's linguistic identity and autonomy, as well as on promising jobs and growth. However, Stalin's immediate change will be to navigate the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is likely to have been exacerbated by the election. So that's fucking... Damn. Yeah, Indian communists can't stop winning. That's fucking... Indian Stalin has won. Alright, so that's bright looking future there. Yeah, like he does have chops. I mean, we'll see if he's Stalin reborn or not, but that's he sounds pretty good. He sounds pretty based. Brazilian Amazon released more carbon than it absorbed over the past 10 years. Here's the bad shit. Brazilian Amazon released nearly 20% more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere over the past decade than it absorbed, according to a startling report that shows humanity can no longer depend on the world's largest tropical forest to help absorb man-made carbon pollution. Yeah, so... offsetting the amount of carbon dioxide going into the atmosphere is going to require lots of biomass being created. That might be like reforestation, that might be certain types of agriculture that get a lot more biomass created, but yeah, the carbon's got to go somewhere. That's not good news though, but it's yet another one of those dominoes piling up. It's like, yep, climate change is real fucking bad. Mexico's indigenous Zapatistas are planning to invade Spain by boat, kind of. A Zapatista delegation plans to travel across the Atlantic Ocean by boat and arrive in Spain before August 13th, the date that the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, which is now Mexico City, fell to the Spanish conquistadors in 1521. So it's like a publicity stunt kind of thing, I guess. Of course, this is a Vice article. What the fuck? That is wild. North Korea warns U.S. of very grave situation after Biden's big blunder in speech to Congress. Hopefully that's just saber rattling. Certain the U.S. chief executive made a big blunder. In the light of the present day viewpoint, Kwan continued, we will be compelled to press for corresponding measures, and with time the U.S. will find itself in a very grave situation. I mean, they say that kind of stuff a lot, so I don't know. Alright, let's see. Let's check. Mexico's indigenous Zapatistas planning to invade Spain. Is this the sunset? I'm not sure. Sunset invasion? Shit. I don't know that one. 7 Zapatistas will cross the Atlantic Ocean to mark the 500-year anniversary of the Spanish conquest, and they want to party upon arrival. God, look at that shit. They got a fucking what do you call it? Like a little animal ornamenting the boat, like a jaguar or something, maybe. Mexico's renowned indigenous Zapatista movement is preparing to invade Spain, sort of on the 500-year anniversary of the Spanish conquest. Zapatistas wrote that the invasion has started in a statement released this week in 41 languages and Morse code, signed by Subcomandante Galeano, aka Subcomandante Marcos, the pipe-smoking, balaclava-clad leader who emerged onto the world stage in 1994. A Zapatista delegation plans to travel across the Atlantic Ocean by boat and arrive in Spain before August 13th, the date of the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, which is now Mexico City, fell to the Spanish conquistadors in 1521. I already read that. Galeano gave the trip a mythical cast, naming it Ixchel's root for a Mayan fertility goddess who, according to legend, spread herself across the world in the shape of a rainbow. Over a series of April press releases accompanied by music and photographs, the Zapatistas have described how they built a boat which they call La Montaña, or the mountain, which will carry 7 members on the expedition, 4 women, 2 men, and a trans woman, which Galeano refers to as an other. The delegation will leave May 3rd, so today. So it's already left, I'm assuming, from the island of Isla Mujeres, which woman island, located off the coast of Yucatan Peninsula in southeast Mexico, and travel across the Atlantic to the seaside city of Vigo in the Galicia region of Spain. Upon arrival, they intend to unfurl a banner that says Despertad, wake up. If we manage to land and embrace with words those who are in the struggle there, who resist and rebel, then we will be a part with song and dance. There will be a party with song and dance. The beat of cumbia and the rhythm of hips will shake distant lands and skies, wrote Galeano in his flamboyant style. In a previous Zapatista press release, including the travelers, Galeano said the trans woman named Marie Jose will be the first to disembark with a bold challenge: surrender hetero-patriarchal pale faces who persecute those who are different. Not just kidding, he added. Holy fuck. Oh my god, dude. Wow. Yeah, oh yeah, so the game Crusader Kings 2, the Sunset Invasion, is literally the Aztecs going and taking over. Yeah, Uno reverse intensifies. God damn, this is hilarious, but also like really based. It's a really nice fuck you. Alright, so yeah, I'll keep what else we got? Instead, he wrote, she will proclaim on behalf of the Zapatistas, I declare that from now on, this place, currently referred to as Europe by those who live there, be called Slumilk up, which means rebellious land, or land which does not give in or give up. And that is how it will be known by its people and by others for as long as there is at least someone here who does not surrender, sell out, or give up. But Subcomandante Galeano also acknowledged that this wild party might not happen if La Montaña is not allowed to dock. The voyagers will take 4 canoes that they built to represent different stages of the Zapatista experience and paddle back to the banks of Ixchel's house, presumably Mexico. That's fucking bold. In exuberant prose, Galeano explains the significance of the 4 canoes without concern for difficulty and danger associated with crossing the Atlantic Ocean in the small homemade vessels. Indeed, it was unclear what guarantees of La Montaña's seaworthiness the Zapatistas might be able to offer before its imminent departure. The 500th anniversary of the Spanish conquest of Mexico has been a constant talking point since President Andrés Manuel López Obrador asked the Vatican and the King of Spain, Philip VI, in a controversial 2019 letter to apologize for the abuses committed by the Spanish invaders. The Spanish government said no, it all happened a very long time ago and the values have changed since then. But the Zapatistas have made it clear that they are not looking for an apology. When they first announced their intention to travel to Europe in October 2020, the Zapatistas wrote that we want to speak to the Spanish people, not to threaten them, scold them, insult them, or make demands of them, and not to demand they ask our forgiveness. You didn't conquer us. We continue to resist and rebel. The Zapatistas rose to prominence in 1994. Yeah. All right, so that's damn. That's hilarious. I hope they make it. I really hope that they make it. It seems dangerous and possibly not going to succeed, but wow. Zapatistas rose to prominence in 1994 after a 12-day uprising in the southwestern state of Chiapas to protest the implementation of the North American Free Trade Agreement and bring attention to the plight of Mexico's marginalized indigenous people. Led by Subcomandante Marcos, the Zapatistas declared war on the Mexican state and occupied buildings throughout different cities and towns in Chiapas. The government sent the army to crush the rebellion, and a ceasefire was called after 12 days, but at least 145 people were killed in the uprising and subsequent fighting. Marcos' poetic communiques focused the world's attention on the centuries of oppression endured by Mayans and other indigenous groups in Mexico. Then the Zapatistas set up their own autonomous communities in Chiapas, emphasizing self-sufficiency and human rights. Now their trip promises to reintroduce their activism to a new generation. It is time for our hearts to dance again, and for their sounds and rhythm to not be those of mourning and resignation, wrote the Zapatistas in their October announcement. Thus, various Zapatista delegations, men, women, and others, the color of our earth, will go into the world walking or setting sail to remote land, oceans, and skies, not to seek out difference, superiority, or offense, much less pity or apology, but to find what makes us equal. Wow. That seems like, if that goes well, I hope that gets a lot more attention for all of them. That's some wild shit. Yeah, I read the North Korea headline. G7 to consider mechanism to counter Russian propaganda, UK's Rob says. Speaking ahead of a G7 foreign ministers meeting in London, the first such in-person meeting for 2 years, Rob said the United Kingdom was getting the G7 to come together with a rapid rebuttal mechanism to counter Russian misinformation. So it seems like that shit keeps on going. Yeah, God bless those 5 people they got in a little boat crossing the Atlantic Ocean. They left today, apparently. They were scheduled to leave sometime today. What time zone is Chiapas in? It's not too far off from me, either way. So, that's, yeah. I'm sure they already left. Let's see. Stand up to China and Putin, foreign policy at heart of Germany vote. The clarity with which the Greens now talk about sanctions against Russia, including a stop of Nord Stream 2, and position themselves on China is remarkable, said Ralph Fuchs. It's like Fuchs or whatever, but like it's literally, his name is spelled Fuchs. A former Green politician who heads the Center for Liberal Modernity think tank. Yeah. All right. Manchester United fans storm stadium in protest of U.S. owners before Liverpool match. Long-running anger against the American owners has boiled over after they were part of a failed attempt to take United into European Super League. Supporters have been kept out of games due to the coronavirus pandemic, so they're keeping that shit up. So that might actually go somewhere. All right, what's up with that's this? I opened it twice. They're going to use a mechanism to counter Russian propaganda. So let's see. What's the opening? A group of 7 richest countries will look at a proposal to build a rapid response mechanism to counter Russian propaganda. A rapid response mechanism. Russian propaganda, disinformation, British foreign security, Dominic Raab told Reuters. Speaking ahead of G7 foreign ministers meeting in London, the first such in-person meeting in 2 years. Rob says the United Kingdom will be getting the G7 to come together with a rapid rebuttal mechanism to counter Russian misinformation. The fuck does that mean? And it sounds like they're like really upset over Russia. what the fuck are they gonna do though? So it seems like they're just like they asked him some questions. So that when we see these lies, propaganda, fake news, but you could, we're gonna correct the record. I get it, but what are you gonna do though? It's like a think tank, a propaganda project. What? It's time to think of why the countries which are sick to the core with propaganda. Come on. Which use more than once to justify armed intervention and toppling of governments. You talking about Russia, or are you talking about the United States, man? Accuse our country of their own sins. Russian. Oh no. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah. Fucking correct. China says the West is a bully and that its leaders have post-imperial mindset that makes them feel like they act like global policemen. Again, correct. Britain has identified Russia as a big threat to security, though it refers China's long-term challenge, militarily, economically, technology. All right. But what are they? So he's gonna... Shit. Come on. Let go of the scroll bar. Rob will meet the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken on Monday, kicking off a week of diplomacy aimed at reinvigorating the G7's role and forming a wider bulwark against those it sees as undermining the rules-based international order. The scope for intense cooperation, international cooperation with our American partners, and indeed the wider G7 that we're convening this week has never been greater, Rob said. So, what is... I guess they don't know what they're going to do yet. They're just like saying that they're going to do something to try to counter the propaganda. Yeah, they're just like, this is just a bunch of rhetoric. Where's the actual policy that they're going to do? Britain has invited India, Australia, and South Korea to attend this week's meeting, running from Monday to Wednesday, and the full leader summits in June. And that's whether Britain could seek to join a separate group known as the Quad, the United States, Japan, Australia, and India. Rob said there was no concrete proposal as yet, but Britain was looking at ways to engage more in the Indo-Pacific. I guess NATO is not doing so well, so they got to find a way to try to build, what do you call it? Some kind of block, some kind of collective against Russia and China. So, yeah, so maybe, yeah, it might be something involving internet infrastructure, maybe. Also could be a means of criticize. Yeah. So it means the criticism of G7 nations. Yeah, I don't know what. It's too vague to really say what they're planning. It might just be like, censor criticism of the G7, right? I figured that's what you were saying. It's like a means of dealing with criticism. Yeah, maybe they're gonna do the same shit that they constantly rag on China for about like censoring the internet. They've definitely made movements in that direction before. All right, so what's this thing? Germany vote. Green and CDU parties pick their sides in a race to replace Merkel as chancellor. Yeah, Greens were like talking against Russia. All right, that's, yeah. Oh, it's already 9:47. All right, I'm not going to read through all of this. German federal elections in September. Europe's largest economy is likely to be led either by a human rights champion sending steely messages to Russia and China, or a dovish politician who wants Vladimir Putin to be given more respect. Surprisingly, the former hails from a Green Party founded by peace activists during the Cold War arms race, and the latter chairs a conservative party that traditionally sees itself as America's most loyal ally in German politics. With a coalition between Annalena Baerbock's Greens and Armin Laschet's Christian Democratic Union, one of the likely electoral outcomes in the autumn, a foreign policy clash could define Germany's early days in the post-Merkel era. Under the outgoing chancellor, Germany has mostly trodden a middle path, speaking up about human rights violations and democratic ideals, while also heeding its ravenous industry's appetite for Chinese export markets and Russia's energy supplies. Yeah. With Joe Biden in the White House, the geopolitical strategy of having your cake and eating it is becoming harder to justify, says Overexpect, a foreign policy analyst. Why is Biden, well, whatever. In a paradigm of strategic competition between America and China, there's now pressure on Germany to position itself. Yeah, that's true. Baerbock, a 40-year-old with a background in international law, has been one of the Greens' most vocal advocates for tying German foreign policy more firmly to values rather than economic needs. Jeez. If she were to become chancellor, she has vowed to withdraw government support from the already complete Nord Stream 2 pipeline between Germany and Russia, which critics say will boost Putin's geopolitical influence. So then why do it then? I mean, it's so fucking weird. Maybe she really thinks that values are the important thing here. Because that seems dumb. Echoing rhetoric from within the White House, she recently said that Germany's relationship with China, or are they saying, oh no, they're saying that okay, I fucking misread it wrong. Yeah, okay. The Nord Stream will boost Putin's geopolitical influence, yes. That fucking grammar is a mess. They're not criticizing the move, they're criticizing the pipeline. God. Okay. Yeah. No, that's probably a better idea. Because it would be bad for a lot of those countries who do have influence now. Russia would be consolidating influence with the Nord Stream. It's getting too late. I need to stop soon. Echoing rhetoric from within the White House, she recently said that Germany's relationship with China should be marked by a competition of systems, authoritarian powers versus liberal democracy. Yeah, same old bullshit. Clarity with which the Greens now talk about sanctions against Russia, including the stop of Nord Stream 2 and a position themselves to China, is remarkable, said Ralph Fuchs, a former Green politician who heads the Center for Liberal Modernity think tank. I mean, these Greens kind of seem a little like they're arguing for sanctions. That's kind of sus. Laschet's foreign policy instincts, by contrast, are harder to pin down. In Germany, the 60-year-old's jovial Rhinelander persona has created an image of a politician whose interests do not extend far beyond the borders of North Rhine-Westphalia, where he has been state premier since 2017. All right, yeah. What's his he's more like a kind of middle of the road, I guess, trying to not ruffle feathers. Christian Democrats defenders pointed to his Catholic faith and empathy for Syria's Christian minorities, which many Western politicians believed to be best protected by Assad at the time. By the off-piste comments became a pattern. In April 2018, Laschet used Twitter to criticize the British government for forcing NATO members to condemn Russia over what he saw as limited evidence for proving its role behind the attempted poisoning of Sergei Skripal. His own country's government had considered the evidence sufficient. Laschet's silence on the attempted poisoning of Alexei Navalny was condemned strongly by the Greens. Baerbock expressed her irritation with the CDU's leaders' friendly tone toward Moscow. Yeah, the Greens are being fucking anti-Russian hawks, and the Christian. This is so weird. North Rhine-Westphalia was not only home to the company, energy company Uniper, one of Nord Stream 2's financiers, but also the port of Duisburg, a key hub for China's Belt and Road Initiative. All right, that's almost the end. There's a little question about Laschet's passion for the European project, which comes across as less learned and more heartfelt than Merkel's, from a politician who grew up in a part of Germany that borders Belgium and the Netherlands. People from border regions have always been quicker than those from elsewhere at overcoming the divisive nature of borders, he wrote in his debut editorial for the Aachen Church newspaper. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference in February 2020, Laschet and Baerbock agreed that Germany had done too little to respond to French President Emmanuel Macron's call for a more unified European foreign policy. Laschet seems open to the idea of the EU becoming a more robust geopolitical actor, said Jana Puglierin, head of the European Council and Foreign Relations Berlin office. In that arena, the CDU and the Greens may find themselves on the same page after all. Yeah, so it's showing that there's like some kind of realignment going on. Greens and Euro nations have an odd reactionary tinge. Yeah, I mean, you often see weird baggage with some of these kind of political orgs, so yeah, it's just kind of strange. I mean, opposing the Nord Stream makes sense, but like being pro-sanction is fucking really weird for a green, in my view at least. But that says being a burger and being more familiar with our greens. All right, so I'm just gonna speed through the last of the headlines. See if I can do it in 6 minutes. Where was I? This is almost 10 o'clock where I am. Biden showers cash on ex-CIA contractor to transfer migrants. Yeah, so this is that real change that you're seeing by voting for the lesser evil, right? We got to get out Trump, so we get Biden, and it's a CIA contract. An ex-CIA contractor is handling the migrants. MVM Inc., a company previously perhaps best known for acting as a contractor for the CIA and the NSA in Iraq, of all places, has in recent years become a major player in the U.S. government's treatment of asylum seekers, all the while inviting scrutiny for apparently lax approach to the safety of those in its care. Wow, that's so much better than, ICE and Customs and Border Patrol. Biden administration wants to use third-party extremism researchers to spy on Americans. Yeah, so much better than like the fascism, totalitarianism that Trump was doing. CNN report on Monday gave a glimpse into what the coming war on domestic dissent could look like. Homeland Security and intelligence agencies, rather than waiting for new power and heightened funding, are considering outsourcing some surveillance work to research groups and NGOs. Great. Yeah, privatizing the security, what do you call it? Not security, it's the surveillance state. Yeah. We're privatizing the fucking NSA, dude. It's war on terror kind of shit, and it's like the NSA is spying on people, but now they're not just doing. See, I think here's the deal. The NSA was gathering data for like security reasons, but now what they're doing is, because that hasn't been too useful or it's been like expensive, they're going to start doing it for profit. It's like these private contractors are doing it, so now they're going to try to find ways to make money off of spying on people. So that's going to be real fucking interesting. 3 killed as suspected smuggling boat capsizes off San Diego. A packed boat being suspected of being used in human smuggling operation capsized and broke apart in a powerful surf along the rocky San Diego coast, killing 3 people and injuring more than 24 others, authorities said. Jesus. I mean, I guess that's kind of shit you have to deal with when you're trying to enter the country through a hidden kind of avenue. That's but that's like, you only find out about that kind of stuff because something went wrong. A lot of people getting smuggled in, or they make it, but it's a lot worse. War on Terror Reloaded, except it's domestic, so it's like they don't even have to pretend they aren't spying on Americans. Yeah, pretty easy these days. But China is the definition of a state surveillance. Yeah, that's like it's crazy how much that kind of shit is just projection. Like, oh, stop looking at all the bad shit we're doing. Look at what they're doing over there. We promise what they're doing is worse. Honest. Don't ask questions and don't look into it any further. Just take our word for it. McConnell, no Senate Republicans will back Biden on $4 trillion. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said on Monday that he expected no Republicans would support President Biden's sweeping infrastructure package, indicating GOP lawmakers are open to a roughly $600 billion bill. Well, yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure what the current... I mean, they have the majority in the Senate. I forget what the Senate and House seats look like. It's too late. My fucking brain is not working right now. But yeah, I feel like that kind of stuff is more something that Biden wants to say to look good than something they'd actually do. I thought that they had the majority, but like he's saying they'll do it, but it's gonna probably be like what Obama did, where he'll say like, I'm gonna do some big thing, and then like goes and writes the legislation, and it's like walked way back from what he promised, and then they like negotiate with the moderates who are like, no, this is still too much, and then it gets walked back another step from that. Like, you know, oh yeah, we're gonna have, he basically was like running on Medicare for all, and then walks it back to like a public option when they start to like draft legislation, and then the moderates are like, no, it's got to be like, what do you call it, it's got Romney Care, where it's an insurance mandate instead of a public option. So like that happened. That's what happened with Obamacare. Biden Bridges is going to do the same kind of shit. That's my guess. I don't know. I feel like people are becoming jaded with the Democrats to a degree. We'll see, though. We'll see how people respond to however this turns out. Green groups sue Army Corps of Engineers over nationwide pipeline permit. 5 eco-advocacy groups around the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers sued the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on Monday for allegedly violating federal law by issuing a nationwide fossil fuel pipeline permit without adequate analysis of its environmental impacts. Yeah, so like, see, Biden's going to be so good for the environment. You gotta, I don't have a Walsh impression, but like, yeah, this is what voting for Biden gets you. That's like, it's like 3 back-to-back stories about how shitty the U.S. It's really weird to contrast the U.S. electoral politics like that with the kind of success that we were seeing in, or potential success we were seeing in like Peru and in Kerala. Like, damn. The pandemic stunted America's youth. Young people across the country are falling behind because of the pandemic, and they will feel the macroeconomic consequences of these months of pain long after the pandemic is over. Yeah. Talking in terms of like unemployment and schooling and all that stuff. A mess. So grotesquely horrible, even the goons are saying how shit it is publicly. That's almost like the new culture is to like, to own the fact that it's garbage and to be like, yes, it's garbage, but it's our garbage kind of thing. Fire chief resigns after telling local police stop responding to black... Holy fuck. Fire chief resigns after telling local police stop responding to black neighborhoods. A Lancaster County, South Carolina volunteer fire chief resigned Friday over his recent Facebook post that urged police to stop responding to these black neighborhoods, saying it's better if they eventually kill each other. Wow. I want to get a picture of this guy up. What a piece of shit. Yeah, it's going to get worse. That's why the left needs to be ready. 100%. 100%. Even if there's not a whole lot that can be done productively right now, there's a lot of preparation that needs to be made. Fire chief resigns over telling local police to stop responding to black neighborhoods. That's something completely different in that video, I think. I just want to find a picture of this. Or here we go. This is the guy, I guess. You can't really see his face there. Dear police, stop responding to these black neighborhoods. They will eventually kill each other, and the fake news won't have a story. And that's the Facebook post, I guess. And he Yeah, he resigned. So, Lancaster County, South Carolina. Fire Chief Francis Butch Kent, head of the McDonald Green Volunteer Fire Department, wrote on Facebook, just one day after the deputy-involved shooting of a black man, Andrew Brown Jr. Oh, wow. Fuck. God damn. Lancaster County officials told the Rock Hill Herald newspaper they found out about the controversial post Monday, prompting the court counsel to condemn his Facebook remarks as offensive. Lancaster confirmed several outlets that the released apology was against own words and that he'd been suspended at the time from the fire service. At least 2 members of the McDonald Green Department Volunteer Fire Department are African American, the group's website appears to show. Yeah. God forbid if he answers a fire at a black home, are you going to let all the kids and everybody in the home burn because they're black? Said Tanya Ross, a community activist in Lancaster, in an interview responding to the resignation on Fox 46 Charlotte station. Wow. Yeah, I'm not going to read his resignation and shit. That's just... Yeah. Again, these are just the ones you're seeing. There's people like that all over the place. Especially, I mean, like the South, they'll be more openly saying stuff like that, and like they'll be like honest about having that kind of views of black people or minorities in a broader sense too. But that shit's everywhere in this country. This is just somebody who's like got a room temperature IQ and posts something on fucking Facebook. It's just the tip of the iceberg. CVS Walgreens have wasted more COVID vaccine than does most states combined. Oh, vaccine doses than most states combined. Yeah, that's... Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recorded 182,874 wasted doses as of late March, 3 months into the country's efforts to vaccinate the masses against the coronavirus. CVS was responsible for nearly half, and Walgreens was responsible for 21%, or nearly 128,500 wasted shots combined. A lot of that is people just not getting the vaccine. But yeah, that's speaking of which, I need to schedule getting mine, because probably my local pharmacy is wasting some because people aren't getting it. All right, then op-ed, we have a True Anon episode about the deep state, just like explaining what it is, what all that stuff is about. And then Chris Hedges is saying Joe Biden's prick and century of sectarianism, but the end is in sight. This is about it's like written in a narrative way. The ethnic cleansing pioneered in the Irish plantations provided a template for the later genocidal onslaught on Native Americans. Is it about Ireland? The gangs responsible for amalgamated in 1975 by the Orange Order was financed and encouraged by Dublin Castle administration under the... Okay, so this is about politics in Ireland. Okay, that looks interesting, but I'm out of time. Yeah. So that looks like it's it. I'm gonna check the thread one last time to make sure though that there's nobody posted nothing that's gonna get me suspended. No new posts found. Just what was it? We got a cute thanks news Anon post talking about the Northern Ireland under the UK. Yeah. Well, hopefully that the situation in Ireland gets resolved. It's been a long time. They really deserve to have the country back, be reunified, get the fucking Brits out of there. We'll see, though. Maybe Brexit weakens the UK enough that it's not able to keep that up. But that's it for today. Thanks everybody for tuning in, whether you're still here or not. I'll be back probably tomorrow. I'm not sure what day I'll take off this week. I'm going to try to start doing this earlier, like 6 p.m. my time, so 22 UTC. Maybe start like streaming other things earlier than that to help get like more traffic, so I can like raise this money for pro literacy and adult literacy. I don't know what it's. I think it's a nonprofit org, but it's promoting adult literacy in the United States, and it's got a bunch of affiliate groups around the world. Just thought it would be like it's a quick, easy charity donation page you can set up with Streamlabs, so I did it for the month of May. We'll see if anybody chips anything in. Yeah, I'll try to get like some games, getting people onto the stream earlier before I start doing the news. Let's see if we can get anybody into that stuff. So yeah, that's the plan for this week. I will be back. And until then, as always, don't forget to agitate, educate, and organize. I'll see you later.
That's all, folks.